welcome to Germany and welcome to round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship. We're here at the Hockenheimring. An F1 circuit is now transformed into the fastest drift circuit in Europe for one weekend only. Now, if this is your first time watching the Drift Masters European Championship, we're going to get you up to speed. So let's rewind to the madness that was Riga.
Riga. The Drift Masters European Championship touched down in the beautiful Latvian city for the most dangerous and highly anticipated event of the tour. This track takes no prisoners and only rewards the brave. Drivers knew there was no point in showing up if they weren't prepared to throw down. Before the on-track competition began, locals were treated to a sight that few could comprehend: the street parade.
We're in the middle of freaking Riga. Police shut the whole place down for like a bunch of 60, 70 crazy 1,000 horsepower drift cars. Come on now, how much better can it get? And the weather is good as well, so it's Riga, baby.
You have to stay focused, and commitment definitely will win the race. This track really requires high concentration and a lot of commitment, and then I would say balls.
Welcome to Latvia and welcome to Riga and welcome to the most hardcore drift event of the year. After an insane start to the season in Płock in Poland and then a very unpredictable event in Hungary, the Drift Masters European Championship is ready to once again stake its claim that has become the Champions League of European drifting.
Almost on cue, unpredictable weather conditions would make the circuit even more challenging and treacherous. The best in the business would have to prove their ability and adaptability once again. It was time to hit and hope at over 90 miles an hour.
And he is right there with Sebastian Fontin, not an inch between the cars. Oh, big impact.
Romanovsky's sketchy transition.
Torrential weather out there.
Gregor Zimke as he fires that car.
The Shannon's right with him, he's like a dog with a bone.
But even torrential downpours couldn't stop the knife-edge action, as each driver threw caution to the wind.
Gets deep. Oh, he's way over the line.
Definitely the speed is picking up here.
Romanovsky now starts to get on it. Himke absolutely flying. They fire it in door on door into the first turn, and Adam Zalewski starts to give Bartosz Sadowski something to think about.
Current Formula Drift champion James Dean would have to go through Krzysztof Romanowski in order to make the final. It was go time for Poland and Ireland.
Dives into the inner zone as Romanowski now looks to transition. James Dean. Oh, wow!
How did they not make contact?
James Dean defying all the limits. Romanowski now stands on the accelerator, starts to hunt down the 2017 champ. Zalewski on that perfect lead line, and look at Romanowski looking to hunt down the door. Can he? Wow! Adam Zalewski absolutely putting caution to the wind.
Oh, and he hops over his car. Contact.
Krzysztof Romanowski would beat defending champion Adam Zalewski for third step on the podium, leaving us with one final battle remaining. Gregor Szybki, the winner in Hungary, had championship point leader James Dean firmly in his sights. With so much anticipation resting on this event, the final would have to be something truly special. It certainly didn't disappoint.
He doesn't seem to have the pace for James Dean.
Look at that! Out of nowhere!
He just comes out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere!
James Dean pushes big on 60.
After 3 grueling rounds of action, record attendances and unrivaled online viewership, the Drift Masters European Championship is certainly cementing its initial claims as the Champions League of European drifting. As we head to round 4, we ask one question to every drift fan worldwide. Can you really miss what happens next?
At Riga, we brought professional drifting to the city streets of Latvia. But we had to go up a notch for the next round, which was round 4 in Torun in Poland. A full 17,000-seater stadium was transformed into a custom-built drift circuit for the weekend. And the result? You're going to have to see this one to believe it.
After watching Drift Masters for the last couple of years, it's obviously been like our mission to get here and actually compete.
Drift Masters European Championship this year is really high level, and first 3 rounds are over and there's been 3 different winners, so competition level is really high. Watching these drivers on track, risking everything, you know.
Drivers are pushing so hard, they don't really care about their cars, they just care about winning.
You got about 60 to 70 pro drivers, and yeah, it's even hard to qualify over here.
You may be confused. You may even be misinformed. This is not a regular drift championship. This is Drift Masters, where exceptional is normal.
Welcome to Torun in Poland, and welcome to round 4 of the Drift Masters European Championship. It's been an amazing year, but it's about to get even more amazing as we stand here in a custom 17,000-seater speedway stadium, which has been transformed, and I do mean transformed, into a fully custom-built drift circuit for the weekend. Nothing like this exists anywhere in the world. For 5 days, they've been laying tarmac and preparing a challenging course for the best drivers from around Europe.
James Dean was once again the man to beat as he entered the battles. His teal and blue S14 had become the biggest target on the grid.
Good friends behind the scenes, but now they go to war as Daham leads in Shanahan. Daham will definitely have the horsepower advantage here, but Shanahan's not going to let him get away that quick. And look at
Connor Shanahan, big impact with the wall.
Connor Shanahan, big into the wall. Shanahan sitting 3rd in the championship right now. This could be a big deciding factor on whether he's going to be in the fight.
Pushkowski now, so out of the door.
He's going to be the Irish champion going up against one of the prides of Poland. Shanahan to lead in Romanowski. Shanahan tags the wall but stays in it.
He's the local hero, but he wants to take him down. The man. And Karkoshik takes it to the wall. Karkoshik takes it to the wall. So, yeah, look at this. A point to Lexco. He's got a point to prove. He's door on door. Look at this. From a point to Lexco, pushing the Formula Drift champion around that final turn. He's done.
These guys, the best of Lithuania and Poland, now going door to door, wheel to wheel as the flames fire into the stands. Oh, look at Himki, he's all over Vasiliauskas. He is not letting him away here as they come across the line. Himki back in the game. And look at Joe Tunji not backing down.
As he starts to pull on his brother, as he starts to go wheel to wheel now in the centre of the circuit. Eddie Hutangilo steps on the accelerator and trying to pull some distance.
Oh, look at Joe Tunji, he's not backing down as he goes to the front wheel. They are all over each other across the line.
Pavel Korbalinski almost went on well from Torani Kavir. This is the Kavir that we're used to seeing from round one. This is Torani Kavir fires it in now. Korbalinski needs to repay the favour and get on the door. Oh, wow!
The unique track layout and immovable outer barriers were claiming victims. Drivers knew that in order to claim the podium, they would have to risk it all. Even the championship leader found himself in the outer wall during practice, needing last-minute repairs to make the finals.
Wheel to wheel with Dragon Timke.
Almost contact as Dean now pushes the limits here and goes right back onto the rear corner of the Drift Warriors E30. And that is a sensational clinic from James Dean. And look at that.
Big mistake for Zalewski. Oh, Brokowski almost takes the back bumper. Oh, and Zalewski goes into the wall. Trella to lead in Joe Hutanchi as Hutanchi throws it on the door.
How did they not make contact? But he's still in the game here. That was a very brave move from Joe Tunji there. Brokowski already.
Whoa, Brokowski's built to wheel, almost contact, and Brokowski pushes James Dean almost into the wall. This is insane action. The accelerator looks like he's pulling away from that little open GC. Can Brashkovsky overturn this? He had good proximity in the first half of the battle. Trella gets back on the door, but is it too much too late as they bring it home?
With 20 crashes throughout the competition, our final four drivers had survived the greatest onslaught in European drift history. It was clear that this night would never be forgotten. 65 drivers became four, and they were about to tear the roof off the Moto Arena.
As they fire it in, look at Brokowski, nice time, but look at Jakob. Jakob all over the side of Brokowski's car, makes a big dive into Alzo too. Look at Brokowski all over the side of Jakob. Jakob can't get away.
Paweł Brokowski would see off the challenge of Jakub Piszczanski to claim third step on the podium. On a historic night, Poland's pride would fall on the shoulders of Paweł Trella as he would go face-to-face with James Dean in the final.
Trella now cannot let him get away, and he doesn't. Look at Trella. He's right with Dean here. See the transition back, and Trella is still there. Dean cannot shake the Polish driver. He's going to make one last dive into that last corner, and he does. Right there with James Dean. Clinical finish from Trella. James Dean is right there. He's not giving him a millimeter. Dean now starts to hunt down the Polish driver. Last minute transition. Dean now back on the door, doing what he does best. The machine is locked on to that last out. Oh!
A huge mistake from Pavel Trella.
And Dean finishes the run.
As the dust settled on an unforgettable night, many global drift fans were left with one uncomfortable question. Is this Drift Masters European Championship just too unforgiving, too harsh and too unfair? We believe the answer is simple. In order to be the best, you must beat the best. And taking in what we had just witnessed, it's pretty obvious the best are here.
So, now you're up to speed with all of the action in the Drift Masters European Championship. And we're just about to go live and kick off the action here at round 5 in the Hockenheimring in Germany. Hold on, because this is going to be a good one. Hello and welcome to Germany and welcome to round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship. I'm Dave Egan. I'm joined by my good friend Ian Waddington, and we're going to talk you through all the action that's about to go down here in Hockenheim in Germany over the next 2 days. It's been an incredible season, Ian. The stories, the drama, it's just been something special for European drifting, and I'm expecting just the same this weekend. More unpredictability and more fun as we head into the unknown, the fastest circuit of the year.
Yeah, I mean, what a crazy year it's been so far. Like you say, we've built up to this, which is a crazy, crazy event. We're here at Hockenheim, the Formula One circuit. I mean, what a setting, what a place to be. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a good weekend of drifting.
Absolutely. And of course, remember, the championship's still very much in the mix right now. The drivers are getting ready to go out onto the circuit. We're going to talk you through all of the nuances on this track and let you know exactly what's about to go down. If you're joining us for the first time ever at a drift event, well, don't feel out of the loop, because we're going to keep you up to speed right throughout the weekend. Now, how does this championship work? Well, essentially, it's the first true Champions League of European drifting, meaning that we have got drivers from over 22 nations competing this weekend, from as far afield as Jordan in the Gulf regions, all the way to Scandinavia, all the way to Ireland, and everywhere in between. We've had an incredible season of drivers stepping up to the plate. These are the best of the best, and right now they're going to a track, Ian, which is totally opposite to where they were before. As I said, you saw in the intro, we were in a stadium just a couple of weeks ago, a custom-built circuit, quite tight, technical, and walls. Now, those skills are being put to the test as they have to switch to a very fast, fluid circuit, which is all about the correct line, keeping that car sideways, and it's a bit about bravery, because I'm seeing these guys coming in there at over 80 miles an hour into that first corner.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you're completely right what you say. We completely switched it from last round, you know, tight, technical circuit, very fast still, never mind that. But this is just a whole new mindset. Again, very, very long run up into the first corner. Very high speeds. These guys are pushing their cars, like you say, way over 80 miles an hour. And I'm hearing guys that they're saying that they can't get enough gearing out of the car. So they're actually maxing these cars out in 4th and 5th gear to make it around the first turn. That's how fast they're going.
And of course, they're not just going fast around these corners, because of course, Hockenheim is a Formula One circuit. Speed here is regular. I mean, we've had Formula One cars here earlier this year. But what is interesting is when you're at that speed, when you're sideways, when you've got that car on opposite lock and you're trying to smoke those tires, it's a big challenge. And that's why a lot of these cars are custom built to run over 700-800 horsepower, to be able to have enough wheel speed to lose that traction at those, which to me just sounds like nonsense and craziness, but these guys do it all morning in practice like it's nothing. I'm expecting some incredible stuff to go down this weekend, and I'm sure you guys are looking forward to seeing the action unfold. Now, if you're new to drifting, well, let's explain exactly how it works. Essentially, drifting is unique to any other motorsport. There's a start line and there's a finish line, but not really. There's no stopwatch. It's all about style, angle, speed, and precision, and that, of course, is decided by our judging panel, drifting being a judge sport. Now, there's 3 judges, and of course, they are going to be the ones calling the shots for the next 2 days and deciding who goes through the stages of the competition. Now, we start today with qualifying, and qualifying essentially whittles our grid of over 60 drivers down to the top 32 who go head-to-head in battles tomorrow, meaning that half the grid aren't going to make it through qualifying. That's how harsh it is. But to explain exactly what that qualifying session is all about, we're going to hand you over to those judges who are making those calls to explain every piece of information. Now, our 3 judges this weekend are head judge Kieran Hines, Kevin O'Connell, and David Callas. There they are, looking handsome as always and ready for action. And of course, we're going to hand over to Kevin, who's going to talk you guys through the setup here in Hockenheim. Very different than the last event, so keep your ears peeled.
Thanks, Dave. So as you said, very different to our last event here. An extremely fast start to this course, and then it gets really technical towards the end. Starting from the initiation point, we want the drivers to accelerate up as fast as they possibly can, up to the initiation point just at outer zone 1. From outer zone 1, we want the drivers to initiate preferably with a clutch kick or a feint entry, and then we want them to absolutely pin the throttle all the way until they hit the inner clip 1. From inner clip 1, then we want them to shoot straight directly out towards outer zone 2. From outer zone 2, then they have a nice, quite a tricky transition here. If they leave it too early, they won't make outer zone 3. If they leave it too late, they're going to wash off and not be able to hit inner clip 1. So we want a nice smooth transition, but dialing on quite a bit of angle out to outer zone 3 to slow the car down and scrub off all that speed that they've gained from the first corner. From there, then they want to tuck the nose of the car into inner clip 2 and middle track line through the second part of the track. Rear the car out to outer zone 4, midline then again in through the gap, and out to outer zone 5, and then maintaining a nice wide line all the way out to outer zone 6 and over the finish line.
Well, it's as easy as that, Ian. I mean, it seems easy to me, you know, up over top of 4th, 5th gear, throw the car in on sideways angle, try and hold it on the opposite lock, and then absolutely nail a perfect line throughout everything while being on and off the brakes, the clutch, the handbrake, using 700-800 horsepower, shredding extremely grippy semi-slick rear tires, and trying not to die at any point during the process.
And hitting the qualifying line and all the clipping points.
Well, I'm glad we're up here watching it, and so are you guys, I'm sure, as these guys are going to attempt an incredible display of drifting here throughout the weekend. And I'm loving the fact that the track is so different than anything we've had on the calendar. I mean, you could compare it to Riga with that first corner being so fast, but it's just so open. It's so, you know, what we've minutes of and sort of being a showman, because of course you're kind of pinned in if you make a little bit of a mistake, and we saw it in the last event in Turin in Poland. We had over 20 crashes there, and all of those cars, just by the way, have turned up to this event a couple of weeks later absolutely perfect.
Fine.
So that just goes to show the incredible commitment behind the scenes from all of these teams, who are in majority privateers, who have as friends and family getting those cars back together to stay in the hunt. But what's incredible, as I said, they can express themselves a little bit here, is that they can put on a little bit of angle, they can put on a little bit of show. All those crazy things you see in drift cars, essentially now they can use them. But if you're still not up to speed with exactly what's about to go down, let's break it down even more. Let's talk to you guys about the criteria of qualifying. So each driver will complete 2 non-consecutive scored runs. The highest score after both runs will count as a driver's final score. Each run is scored out of a maximum of 100 by our 3 judges. The average score from all 3 judges will count as a driver's run score. Of course, as I mentioned, we have got a lot of guys who are over 60 drivers trying to score out of 100, and the top 32 scores will go through to the tournament battles tomorrow. Drivers will be deducted points for momentary loss of drift, understeer, incorrect line, dropping 1 wheel off the designated circuit, or significant contact, and in this case that would be with anything that's hard and immovable on the circuit. The drivers will be rewarded for an extreme entry, throwing that car in really heavy into that first corner. Increased speed, fluidity, smooth transitions, correct judging line, precision, and proximity to the outer clipping zones, and in this case the inner clipping zones also. Drivers will score a 0 for complete loss of drift. Of course, this is a drift championship, Ian. You can't be driving around out there. Spinning out or dropping 2 wheels off the circuit. Extreme understeer, which essentially is when the car just doesn't go in the direction you want it to. Or driving a section of the course. Remember, this is the European Drift Championship, not the European Driving Around the Circuit Looking Cool Championship, and that's very important. So from that perspective, we have got those 60 drivers, and remember, 20 of those drivers are national champions, Ian. We talked about it in Poland before we kick things off here, but the pressure these guys are under, it's very, you know, it's like any other sport. You could be the king of your jungle, you can come there, you're the big fish in a small pond, you come here, you're a fish in the sea, and a lot of these guys struggling to step up to that plate because the competition level is so high.
Exactly that. And you know what, I took a set down earlier with Eddie Power, and we went through loads of different things, and we talked about the championship and how it's evolving and how everything's sitting at the moment, and we calculated that there's 8 people that could potentially take the championship right now if James Dean, if his car breaks, he doesn't really make it well in qualifying and he doesn't win this round. There's 8 people still, so that still gives us a mixed round, you know?
Absolutely, and of course, because it's such a different track, we're going to see guys that were hugely successful on the tighter circuits with the walls now struggle maybe with that high speed. I mean, if speed is an issue, power comes into play, grip comes into play, your car setup comes into play, where I think it's more just precision and bravery on the tighter circuits. So I think that's going to shake it up a little bit today too.
Exactly, and we watched practice early. We sat up here and we faced the other way and we was watching the drivers, and there's a lot of drivers shining, you know, a lot of drivers putting it out there that we haven't seen really put anything down. For me, Pavel Korpolinski was absolutely laying it down. That little BMW 1 Series, he was flying. He sits 5th in the championship so far. He could potentially, if he does well at this round, jump through into first place in the championship, completely blow it open when we go to Mondello in 2 weeks' time.
And again, we always have to expect the unexpected, because every time you think it's going to play out one way, it does a 180 and goes the other way. So very much like drifting, it's a show, it's unpredictable, and anybody can win. And just to talk us through what the feeling is like down on the start line, we've got our man on the ground. Eddie Power is down there. Ed, what's the feeling like before qualifying?
Thanks, Dave. With 4 rounds down of the 2018 Drift Masters European Championship, only 2 opportunities remain for our drivers to score. with 99 points separating first and second, and the top 8 drivers still in with a possibility of taking the championship here mathematically this season. Things are really hotting up with the 5th round here live from Hockenheim. You can see the drivers are lining up on the grid. It's a bit of a French and BMW invasion at the moment for the first few cars out on circuit. I've been talking to some of the drivers down here, and they are really starting to feel the nerves and the excitement ahead of what's going to be an insane round here in Hockenheim. I'm going to be following all the action down here in the pits and keeping you guys up to date with what's going on. But for now, I'm going to throw it back to you and Ian in the commentary tower, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie. And of course, you can see the drivers getting ready on the grid there for action. And this is a nervous moment for a lot of these drivers, especially because, unlike any other motorsport, this is all that matters for them. Qualifying session today. You make one error here, you mess up a run, you're under pressure for the second. You can't get it done in those 2 40-second runs. And I think here, even lower to 30 if you're fast on this track. That's it. Those 2 mistakes and you're done, you're home, you're in the stands with us, watching it for the rest of the weekend, like a regular person, right?
Exactly that. It's not only that, it's like something else that me and Eddie spoke about earlier when we were talking about different scenarios and what could happen and where we are in the championship. And I said to Eddie, you got to look now realistically. These cars, Dave, have potentially done 5 events. This is the 5th event that they've done this year. Not only that, some of these guys are using their cars practice days, other championships that they're competing in. That's a lot of stress on the cars. And we've seen that today come into play. James Dean's car has done, God knows how many hours this season. He's probably done more competitive runs than any other driver, finishing on the top step or the second step of the podium every single round. Not only that, some demos and whatnot thrown in the mix as well. That car suffering clutch problems, saying that the clutch, it's had a hard life. It's done its time. The problem is, Dave, his brand new clutch is stuck in customs in Cork, in Ireland, and they are trying to get someone to fly that clutch right here tonight so they can get that car ready. Anything could happen, like you say. Well, I mean, it could take a completely different change this weekend.
Well, you've got a championship leader now under pressure mechanically. You've got a grid hungry to take everybody down around them. You've got guys who have maybe not proved themselves 100% throughout the rest of the season, now saying, there's 2 rounds left in this. We got to go out there and show what we're all about, prove our spot here at the Champions League of European Drifting. The pressure is insane, and you've also now got a couple of new drivers, a couple of local drivers who would probably have done this track a little bit themselves, coming in with that bit of experience. Those Germans are coming in here saying, hey, this is our home turf. We're going to show up today and put all these guys back in the box. So from my perspective, the qualifying session on its own is going to be very, very interesting. And I think you're going to start to see the nerve start to come into play, especially with that first corner. It's so brave, it's so fast. For you guys at home, you're going to see just how the speed level here is beyond anything else in Europe. And I think at that speed, any mistake, any slight error, you're way offline. You could be going off the track. We've had guys go off the track, touch some of those outer walls. Remember, the walls aren't on the track, but if you hit them off it, it's the end of your car. So that is the reality these guys are facing. Ian, I'm pumped up for this one. I think just to be here in the Mercedes-Benz Tribune in Hockenheim on a Formula 1 circuit with drifting, this plucky upstart of a motorsport now taking on to these tracks, seeing can the best in Europe handle these speeds. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I've got an anticipation. I'm wondering, could the championship completely change today? Like today, tomorrow, can we see this championship blown apart this weekend and make it completely open as we go to Mondello in 2 weeks' time, which would make it so exciting for us, for the drivers, for everybody at home watching. It would be amazing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, what we want is the most exciting show. I think we're going to get it this weekend. We're certainly going to get it at the finals. But this penultimate round sets up everything for the rest of the season. And a lot of people will say the final is more important. I think for the championship, this could be the most important round that we've ever had in the Drift Masters European Championship. I am pumped to see what happens here in qualifying. If you're just joining us, welcome to round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship, the Champions League of European Professional Drifting. We are here in Hockenheim, Germany, and it is, of course, a Formula 1 circuit now transformed to the fastest drift circuit on the calendar. We've been waiting, anticipating all day through practice for qualifying, and right now 65 drivers will be whittled down to 32 as the judges decide who is going to make it to the main event tomorrow. And right now we go to the start line for the first time, and it is a very interesting car. Ian, if you're not aware of what these cars are, these are called Eurofighters, and essentially they look like a BMW, but they're very far away from a standard E92. We have got Yeah, Clement Caudier from Denmark. This is a fully carbon Kevlar bodied, Austrian, my mistake. He is going to go to the track for the first time and give us a first look. Look at that entry in, of the speed these guys are carrying here.
Yeah, just a little bit too much angle though, Dave, on initiation there. You can see him just have to make a steering correction. You see him now transition out to out zone 2 and that front clip 2. Transition back, nice speed, big angle as he comes through the cut through in the track, through the wall, comes out to outer zone 7 and across the line.
I absolutely love this car, especially the fact the carbon Kevlar body, that 785 horsepower V8, that thing just rips on circuit. And he is looking to make a name for himself here at the Drift Masters European Championship. But let's see what the judges go with on his first score. A sequential gearbox also. This thing is like a Forza Motorsport car in real life. Incredible stuff. And I think right there, yeah, 66.7 for Clemens on his first run. The Austrian getting a solid score there, Ian. And you know what? For his first ever run in the championship, I'll take that. I think he'll be happy with that one.
Yeah, I think he will be happy with that one as we move it back to the line and we move on to another driver, a local guy, this time Andy Wiczynski.
Chris Neigemeyer is our next driver. My mistake. In Germany, 27 years of age. He is running an S65. This is a 680 horsepower BMW. Crazy, crazy build. And he gets ripping through the track right now. As the first of our German drivers. Oh, a little bit wide though. You can see that cone on the inside. That's where he wanted to be. Those outer water bars, essentially trying to get the rear end of the car as close to those as possible. Doing a good job on the second half of the course. But Ian just pushing a little bit too wide as things slowed down onto that inner hairpin.
Yeah, just carried a lot of speed. It's very, very easy there to carry that so much speed. It's like almost a 90-degree turn on the circuit. Very difficult to slow the car down. We see a lot of guys going off track there earlier in practice as we await the score to drop in there for Chris Neigemeyer.
Well, you know, this is interesting because he's the first German driver to take to the track. We're in Germany. Those guys are pretty pumped up right now. They want to put big scores on the board, show the rest of Europe that Germany has a rising drift evolution right now. And I think from Chris's point of view, a solid score here. He'd be happy with 61, puts him in a second so far with 2 drivers completing runs. And you know what? He'll be happy with that. For he's another guy making his Drift Masters European Championship debut here in qualifying. I'm looking forward to seeing his second run. I think there's confidence built there.
Yeah, exactly that as we move it along to a guy, a teammate on the line. It will be Bas Moll from the Netherlands.
Yeah, teammates with Sebastian Fonten, who's been a big player in the championship this year. This is his first round. He is 21 years of age, 2JZ, 725 horsepower under the bonnet of this BMW. And you know what? He's done pretty good at Drift GP last year, 7th overall in the championship. Currently 1st in the Nürburgring Drift Cup and Dutch League. So this guy's coming in with a lot of momentum behind him. And look at this line so far.
Yeah, Bas Moll absolutely laying it down. This is looking very good from Bas Moll. Didn't get as wide into those outer zones as what the judges would have liked to have seen him, but creating a lot of smoke as he stands on the accelerator, takes it to the outer zone 7. And Bas Moll doing a very, very good job there. And you know what? Making a bit of a statement. First qualifying run of the season.
I like the speed in. He came in there hot, no fear whatsoever. Just said, I'm throwing it in full tilt. Did exactly what we expected him to do. I think the judges are going to reward him for that. That was a solid run from Bas Moll. Remember, a guy building himself up through the Nürburgring Drift Cup and the Dutch League to get to Drift Masters next year. So, you know, toe in the water this weekend for Bas Moll. But from my perspective, he's done a good job of showing that he is not a fish out of water here at all.
No, and there you go, a 73.7 for Bas Moll from the Netherlands. So he'll be chuffed with that for his first score of the day. And we move it along to the next guy on the line. This guy absolutely blew me away in practice. Jason Bannett from France, a 20-year-old, competing in the French Drift Championship for 4 years with 2 podiums. BMW 1N, M54 under the bonnet, 700 horsepower, sequential gearbox. Look at the line from Jason Bannett. This guy, like I say, Dave, absolutely blew me away. Never seen him before, never seen him drive, and he impressed me no end. Looked a bit tentative there, though, backed out of it quite early onto that second front clip.
How can you be tentative at 70+ miles an hour, Ian? Honestly,
well, you know,
sideways. That's what we call tentative right now.
This is where we're at, Dave. This is what we've created. Someone going sideways at 70 is now tentative.
That's a tentative run.
It's a tentative run.
I'm going to disagree because when I'm going 70 miles an hour down the motorway, I don't think it's tentative. Never mind throwing it sideways into this crazy circuit. But let's see how the Frenchman does. Another debut in the Drift Masters European Championship. 69.7 for Jason Bannett from France, and he probably is happy in the car as he is in his profile photo there. Smiles all around.
Yeah, he's a happy guy. So we move it along to the next driver. It will be Gary Galopin from France. The 4th in the French Drift Championship, 1st at the Tour Speedway French Championship, and currently 3rd in the French Championship. So this guy
you know, he's doing well for himself.
He's a top 3 driver in France. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
A lot of stats there, Ian, but what it's summarizing is that this guy is one of the top 3 drivers right now in France, which essentially means that he should be ready to rock and roll here in the Drift Masters European Championship. We know the French, every time they make an appearance, they always bring a bit of va-va-voom, as they say, to the grid. And this is a really nice car, E30 BMW, 500 or 740 horsepower. So I mean, this car originally came at about 100 and the change.
20 and 100,
yeah. So it's got a little bit more than it used to have, but he is one of those drivers. Gary is one of those guys we've been looking forward to seeing all weekend. And a little tentative, as you would say, just not actually the car not breaking traction correctly on entry. Just trying to throw it in there, but just the speed that they're carrying here, it's very hard to actually overpower the grip.
Yeah, exactly that. And you can see that the speed he's carrying pushed him past that second front clip. He now makes his way through the cut through in the circuit, out into the outer zone 6, and nice and wide into outer zone 7 as he takes it over the line.
Let me just go back to what I just said, because I analyzed it in my head. This car has 740 horsepower, and it still struggled to break grip, because that's how fast he was going.
And he's only running 15-inch wheels, so that just goes to show you what mechanical grip that car has got.
Incredible. I mean, this is a 3.3 stroked engine, turboed, has all the goodies on there, and let's see what he scores from the judges. It's a 62 for Gary Galopi from France. And Gary is probably going to have to improve a little bit on that for the second run. We'll start to see those scores creep up. Remember, in reverse championship order right now, so the newbies in the championship are up front. But talking about newbies, they have plenty of experience. One of the guys that does have all that experience is Jerome Vassia. This man has competed for many, many years in Drift All-Stars, Drift GP, the Irish Drift Championship, and of course, he is the head man at the French Drift Championship. So, got to practice what you preach out here in the Drift Masters European Championship. And he's thrown in RB25 PS13. Doing a pretty good job. Very good technical race driver, Jerome. Very level-headed. But as I said, maybe bringing a spoon into a knife fight this weekend with this machine. And it's still upwards of 450 horsepower, 500 horsepower.
Yeah, he did look a little bit out of his league earlier when he was doing some twin battle practice with some of the guys on circuit. Like you say, a bit of a spoon to a knife fight situation. But you know what, for me, Jerome Vassia, a very, very consistent driver, always very confident. Like you say, level-headed guy. He's got a lot of race driving experience, so he doesn't really do outlandish things. So it could be someone dangerous to get inside top 32. He could, you know, take down some names. So the score drops in for Jerome Vassia. And what can the Frenchman score? A 70.7 for Jerome Vassia.
That ain't bad, Ian. And of course,
do you know what?
The
technical.
Technicality there coming into play, knowing exactly what the judges wanted. Not perfect, but doing enough to get a good score on the board. Now, I know what you're thinking. What the hell is this? This is a BMW 2002, but it's not from 2002. That's just the model name. This is from 1974. But throw a V8 with 450 horsepower in there, and you've got one of the craziest machines I've seen in Europe this year. What a crazy car.
Yeah, unbelievable car. I was shocked to see it on circuit. Oh, as Philipp Jäger just drops a wheel there, the German driver, been drifting since 2000, and he has competed in a whole host of championships all across Germany and Europe.
It's a cool car.
Very cool car.
Do you know what? I lost concentration of how good or bad he was doing, just going, who wakes up in the morning and says,
I'm going to build that.
This is the car. This is a 2002 coupe, which I've never even seen before.
You're very rare,
but of course,
apparently.
if you're going to find a rare BMW, Germany would be the place for it, right? So he's put a big V8 in that car, and it's working for him. A little bit dropping wheels off the circuit. And Philipp Jäger from Germany, another German driver looking to impress this weekend. I think he's going to have to wait till his second run to do so. 54.7 on his first run. Work to do.
Yeah, exactly. Work to be done there as we move it along and we start getting into our normal championship contenders. First up will be the Romanian Kalin Siartan from Monster Energy and Trace Tires.
Yeah, right now you can see they're not just losing their mind and going crazy and then doing donuts and burnouts just for the sake of, well, you know, maybe it is for the sake of the show.
Maybe they are.
Well, the reason they do that, and if you're new to drifting, is they actually do these burnouts and donuts before the runs to heat the rear tires, to scrub them in, as the phrase they use, to make sure they're at maximum grip and maximum temperature, nice and hot and sticky, so that they, instead of going into the first corner on cold tires and then they heat up, they've got hot tires from the start, so it gives them a consistent grip level. It also looks cool, right?
Does look cool. As he takes off the line in not his 180 SX this time, but in his BMW E30, fires it in big speed there from Kalin. And he's absolutely pinned. Doesn't manage to get all the way out into that first outer zone. You can see him locking up the front wheel. This is a tidy run so far from Kalin Siartan as he transitions through the centre of the track. This is looking nice. The Romanian stands on the accelerator and smokes out Hockenheimring as he takes it over the line.
Yeah, we're starting to see the real vast variety of nations represented here at the Drift Masters European Championship, as Romania now takes to the circuit in a very cool car, that E30 BMW, 802 horsepower, 700 horsepower, 770, my mistake. You know what? These horsepower figures are just irrelevant. They're just all supercar sort of setups.
Crazy.
In these little old school BMWs. Amazing. An 80.3 for Kaelin Kierten from Romania. That's an impressive score. Puts him in the first position. We are early days, though, Ian, as we are in reverse championship order.
Yeah, and we move it along to one of our favourite cars on the grid.
Yeah,
this is a cool looking car.
You can actually see the door bent in from other rounds. This is how hard this guy's been going. He is representing the Ukraine. It is Serhiy Kremets. He is the champion of the Ukraine. Oh, and understeer the first 2017 Ukrainian champion. So comes with a lot of heat into this championship, and he's been impressing us all year. But that first corner, he got that little shade of understeer, put him off his line.
Yeah, and again, you can see that understeer coming into play there as he comes into that second front clipping point. He transitions through the cut through, and now things start working out for him. But that understeer coming into that first front clip and that initiation.
Again, I'm sitting here and going, what do you do to wake up in the morning and go, you know what, the Mercedes CLK?
Do you know what it needs?
It needs a Corvette engine, and then make it even bigger on displacement, and then just make it a crazy
drift monster.
Tire shredding machine. Yeah. That's what's happening right now. Well, let's see what the scores are from the judges for Serhiy Kremets. And again, the judges, taking a little bit of time on this one.
Yeah,
they want to get those scores. They're very accurate.
They want to get them right, yep.
Yeah.
So score drops in there for Serhiy Kremets, and it will be a 55 for Serhiy Kremets.
Yeah, we're not seeing those big scores drop in yet, but of course we're warming up a little bit. We're warming up. Next on the line is Kane Pisani from Malta. Another country represented here very well by Kane Pisani. He is the current Gymkhana champion here in Malta, taking his hand here at the bigger circuits. This is far from a Gymkhana track, though. Full outright speed, and he's got it under the bonnet of this Supra 2JZ, 780 horsepower. Just catching a little bit understeer like we saw Serhiy Kremets do.
Yeah, another guy falling foul to that understeer problem, but look at that nice transition. He's in the middle of the track. He starts to dive in onto that front clip. Very nicely done there from Kane Pisani. Gets back into it, just fails to get out to that outer zone 5, transitions into 6, big angle and overcooks it. Tried to put some style into the mix, Dave, and it just didn't.
No,
just
again,
didn't pay off.
Went on big angle just for that big impressive finish for the judges, but you take that risk reward of being over rotating, and that's exactly what happened. And scores a 0, of course, a spin out for Kane Pisani. And you know what? Trying to put that bit of flair in there, and it's a tough track to do it on.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I don't know whether it's just the way the track changes there through that cut through, and we make it official. Kane Pisani there scoring a 0. Well, I see a few of the top names spinning in that position. You know, I don't know if it's the.
There's actually an elevation change there, and I think it catches a lot of the drivers out there, because you're going from one part of the circuit to the other on a cut through, which generally isn't used by the circuit.
Exactly.
And I was talking to some of the drivers behind the scenes. They were saying it's actually a lot more elevation change than you think. So you're actually coming down a hill, so it picks up the rear end speed of the car, or the speed of the rear end of the car. And sometimes, as you saw, it can over rotate. So next up, we've got a man that has such a small car, it's quite easy to over rotate. But it's Daniel Janota in the 1 Series BMW. He's representing the Czech Republic, and this is his crazy, monstrous 860 horsepower BMW, and coming in really hot here, Ian.
Yeah, drops the wheel there onto the dirt, starts to get out of shape, manages to hold it together, does Daniel Janota. Oh, and look, again, see what I was saying about that front clip? Guys just carrying a bit of too much speed there. Can Janota hold it together and put a qualifying run in the bag? It's not going to be the highest score, but it could definitely be a score nonetheless as he comes across the line.
Absolutely, and again, pushing that a little bit too hard, dropping wheels into the dirt. Of course, you lose the traction in the dirt, get stuck out there. I'm sure the Hockenheim greenkeeper absolutely loving that run from Daniel Janota as he fires grass and dirt over the wall. And Janota scores a 0. Judges saying too much wheels off the course and a lot to. So a little bit of dirt thrown up from Daniel Janota there as our guys come out there with the brooms to do a little bit of housekeeping to make sure that this track, has to be consistent conditions for every driver as they go along.
And one thing to point out, Dave, we was mentioning earlier, me and you had a chat. Look how wide the track is. They look like ants.
Small, little, tiny people.
They're not miniature people that Drift Masters have hired in. That's how wide the circuit is there. Just to give you a concept of how fast these transitions are as well.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's very. I think it's similar to Formula One. When you watch Formula One and you see somebody do 240 miles an hour, it doesn't look like 240 miles an hour. So the same can be said here. Any of these Formula One circuits, you can't even get a real concept of the speed these cars are going at. And as I said, they're topping out 4th and 5th gear here on the first corner. Next off the line, though, is Kim Mathiasen. And Kim, looking for a change of fortune this year. The Danish driver, 31 years of age, LS1 500 horsepower BMW, coming in really hot. Nice start to the run from Kim Mathiasen.
Yeah, Kim Mathiasen really throwing it all out there. Oh, and just grabs a little bit of an issue there as he comes into that second front clip. Transitions back into the outer zone 4. Outer zone 5, slows it down ever so slightly as he comes through the cut through. A tentative-ish run there for Kim Mathiasen.
Yeah,
I think he just wanted to get a score on the board more than anything.
I think so, Ian. And it looked to me that he just kind of backed off a little bit through the last couple of sections, or the gearing wasn't quite right. He was kicking the clutch, but he had so much grip dialed in, just not making a big impact there. But you know what? A tidy run all the same, and that's what, you know, at start of qualifying, you got to settle those nerves. You know you've only 2 chances to go around the course. You don't want to get a 0 on the first run, so how much do you risk it? And I think on that stage he was saying, look, 57.7 puts me in 8th position right now, comfortable, confident, ready to push harder on the second run.
Yeah, exactly that. And you know what, like we say, a score on the ball. Now, up next on the line, this guy, he wowed us, Dave.
Yeah, Mevlud Meladze. I'm trying to pronounce that correctly. I was talking to him earlier. Really nice guy to speak to. 45 years of age, Georgian driver, and he is one of those guys that came out and just blew us away in Torun. We had no idea who he was, and all of a sudden we were huge fans because he has a great technical race driver style. He's got a great background in motorsport. He's won rallies in the past. He's got that natural ability, and he is running a 240 horsepower V8 in this car. So he is the lowest horsepower car in the grid, and what a good job he's doing.
And what a run. What an absolutely perfectly technical run. The only downside to the run was that he had a little bit of understeer, and the car pushed on coming into that second front clip. Going to be scored down on that massively, but you know what, for me, other than that, the outer zone's all fully fulfilled, and I think it's going to be a pretty good score there for Mevlud as we await for that to drop in.
He's sort of becoming the underdog hero here.
He is. You know what? I think he's going to go away in the off-season, and 55.3 there drops him into 9th position for the moment. Yeah. I think he's going to go away in the off-season, stick a couple more 100 horsepower under the bonnet, and come away from this year knowing that he's good enough technically, just lacks a little bit of horsepower.
Yeah, he's a big fan, favourite in Georgia. Next, moving it on, it is going to be the next of our German drivers. AXEL MACK started drifting in 2007. He's driven in a lot of series around Europe. This is his home turf, 700 horsepower. IS Lexus, and he throws it. This car is so cool, Ian. Just a very modern chassis. He's made it work really, really well with this LQ4 twin turbo, and it's got a Chevrolet LQ4 twin turbo, which is one of the craziest engine swaps I've ever heard. Just goes to show the variety on the grid, and right now looking pretty good out there. Tentative, as you mentioned before, not trying to go for anything spectacular, but again, at over 60-70 miles an hour average through this course, everything's spectacular.
Yeah, and you know what, for me, AXEL MACK, not had the greatest year so far. He suffered terminal engine failure. I know him and his team jammed and got that car back together, and he's come back at this round, local round, and he wanted to be here for his local fans and support this event.
I'm not local, Ian, but I am a fan. And I like to see him on track every time he's out here at the Drift Masters European Championship. 64 on the board for AXEL MACK. Puts him into 6th position so far, and not a bad start.
Yeah, we move it along to this guy, JIMMI HANSEN, Danish driver. JIMMI HANSEN running an M3 turbo under the bonnet, 865 horsepower, Dave.
But over 1,000 Newton meters of torque.
Wow.
We're in Bugatti Veyron stages at that. Here we go, look at him throw it in there, JIMMI HANSEN. He's a Hansen man. And look at it, shred the rear tires. This is one of the most angry and crazy BMWs out there. And Jimmy just a little shy of a couple of those clips. Looking good on style, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, for fulfilling all of the outer zones, just that front clip catching everyone out, I think it's so easy to carry too much speed approaching it that it's hard to scrub it off and slow the car down while still carrying good angle. And yeah, Jimmy, another driver there, just falling a little bit foul to that. So I think he's going to hurt his score, but nevertheless, absolutely destroying the tyres and putting on a bit of a show for the judges.
He doesn't do half throttling. That's
he doesn't do it.
He's allergic.
You wouldn't with 1,000 Newton meters of torque.
He's allergic. He actually breaks out in a rash if he's not at full throttle. That's what I've heard. 66.7, JIMMI HANSEN putting a score on the board. And crazy guy out in track. Love his style. Moving along, we are going to have Kasper Christensen, the Danish driver, one of the smiliest drivers on the grid.
Yeah, he's happy. He didn't have a very, very good round last round in Poland. Didn't make it out to qualifying in Turin. He blew a hole in the side of the block, but his crew worked over 48 hours. And look at the angle from Christensen as he fires that car. Holds on to it now. Can he make it out to the outer zone? He certainly can. This is a wild run from Kasper Christensen.
He is
just... Look at the line.
Incredible angle. Not technically perfect on all of the zones, but I'm the most entertained I've been all day. This is a crazy run from Casper Christensen. Going to show a lot of potential there when that car is working, and he's had some mechanical issues this year. I'm looking forward to seeing him when he gets gelled in and he's not worrying about the mechanicals of the car. He has confidence in that entry. He was almost at 90 degrees coming through that first corner.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't think he was going to make it. I thought he was going to end up on the grass and get himself caught in trouble, but he made it happen and got it all out there. But we await the score to drop in for Casper Christensen's first qualifying run of the day.
I think that man has a podium in his future at European level, whether it's today or another event down the line. He's got a lot of potential, and I, for one, am a believer. So Casper Christensen from Denmark, 59.7 into 10th position. Judges saying not technically good, but very entertaining.
Very good impact.
Very good impact. Moving along to Dennis Hansen, another Danish driver. Was a motocross driver for many years, Ian, and taking that hand-eye coordination and maybe deciding not to fall on the ground a lot and saying, I'll get in the car and I'll do some crazy stuff in that too.
Yeah, saying that he'd had enough of falling off a motorbike, and it was much safer on four wheels as he fires that car. Nice transition there from Dennis Hansen. Now, look at that. Wow. Very close to that front second clip. This is looking good right now for Dennis Hansen as he fires it through the center of the circuit. Good transition back. Constant throttle as well. You can see the smoke bailing out the back of that S15. And Dennis Hansen doing a very good job.
Well, I mean, if this is the safest of your multiple hobbies, it says a lot about your personality. Dennis Hansen is a pretty crazy guy. So as he absolutely shreds those tires, 805 horsepower on the back of that car, doing its job and put in a very good technical run. I'm looking forward to see what the judges say. Not perfect, as we mentioned, but these guys are starting to build in confidence.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? This is only his first qualifying run. He's still got one more to go after we've seen all of our drivers run so far. As we are still, judges talking about this one, Dave, not completely convinced of whether they liked it or not.
Well, I think it's more they're having a discussion on the technicality of the run, saying, is it exactly what they want it to be?
Well, they liked it enough to give him a 72.7 and put him in third position so far. So Dennis Hansen looking good, and like you say, a lot of guys dropping through this round and really pulling it out of the bag as we move it along to René Potts.
Yeah, René Potts, 1.5 JZ IS200, another Lexus, 750 horsepower, and another German driver, Ian, looking to impress in front of the home audience.
Exactly that, René Potts. Been putting it all out there, not having a very good couple of rounds, not qualifying, and way shy of that third outer zone. Manages to slow the car down and get to that second front clip. But René Potts just looks like the car's hard work to drive. Doesn't look easy to drive.
Yeah, I think, I'm not too sure on the chassis end of things, but a lot of grip, a lot of horsepower, an unusual chassis. It does look quite snappy through some of those sections, but he's doing a good job of holding on to it, and it goes to show the capability that he has behind the wheel. However, as you mentioned, quite shy of some of those outer zones, and the judge is going to watch for that. Remember, on a track like this, and Kieran Hines, our head judge, said it in the driver briefing this morning, seems like a long time ago, but he was saying that almost 60% of your score, or all of 60% of your score, is on the perfect line.
Yeah.
If you're not on the perfect line at any point on this course, you're going to be losing points. You're just out of that 60. So you take your speed, your angle, your fluidity, your precision, that's all in that 40. The 60 is the line. Well, that's where you're going to get a 55. And that's 14th position for René Potts from Germany. And again, that line hurting him quite a bit. So I think he's got room to improve. His spotters will be on the radio saying, tidy up certain sections and you're in the game.
Yeah, exactly that. So we move it back to the line to a guy that wasn't looking too bad in practice, but he's had his fair share of impacts with the walls this year, and that car probably not 100%. It is a Daniel SAEVIK.
Yeah, Norwegian driver, 30 years of age. Works as a plumber. So, as I said, you can see him. He said he's got some kids. He throws cars into corners at over 80 miles an hour. He's a bit nervous sometimes of what's going to happen. And this is a big run from him so far. Lots of angle, lots of speed.
Yeah, this is looking very tidy for Daniel SAEVIK right now as he gets into those outer zones, fulfilling all of them so far. Very good on that second front clip. Gets out to the outer zone 6 and 7. Very wide, in fact, kicks up some dirt on 7. And you know what, for me, that was a very good run there from Daniel SAEVIK.
Yeah, this car running a 748 wheel horsepower, G-Force transmission and Stance USA suspension. Really nice put together car. As you mentioned, it's been put together a few times this year after some impacts with the wall. But Daniel is one of the most entertaining drivers on the grid, and always a smile on his face.
Very genuinely nice bloke as well.
Loves being involved. And look at that, 74.3 for Daniel SAEVIK from Norway, second position so far. Starting to see those scores creeping up.
Yeah, and exactly. And seeing a lot of a mixture in the championship right now. We move it along. Ken Ekved sits on the line, the Danish driver. 335E92, but he's took the engine out, put it in the bin, because this is running an LS3 turbo, 750 horsepower, as Egfed fires it in.
Little weight transfer on initiation there, getting brave with it. And just again, shy of that outer zone. That's the tough one on the track,
Yeah.
it seems to be in.
Yeah, and this one, slowing the car down enough to get the nose onto that front clip. Very, very difficult for our drivers. This part of the circuit slows it down, and then you build up the speed, so nice and easy to get on there.
Oh, we have an issue.
But he shuts it down, and looked like he delaminated his tyre potentially, or I can see a little puffs of black smoke come out the back of the car. So that could...
Yeah, I think he's signaling for recovery there. That could be a little bit more...
sinister than what it looks like.
That's what I was just about to say. I mean, we're looking on here, and the car sort of rolls to a stop, and our marshals come out to have a look. He just didn't finish off that run. I mean,
so that will be a 0, I'm guessing, Dave. We need to make it official from our judges. Obviously, that's not my job to do. And yeah, there it is, a 0 for Ken Egfed. Wow, and you know what? That looked like a good run. Big, faint entry. He was carrying a lot of speed. He was nailing the line. So potentially, can he get that car fixed? I mean, he's limping his way back. So...
And he's the current, sorry, not the current, but the 2016 Danish drift champion, so another national champion. Just having a little bit of a struggle in the first half of qualifying here. Machinery letting him down. Let's hope he gets that sorted for the second half. Up next.
Yeah, Christian Erlsson. Now, this guy impressed me no end. Not had the best of seasons, took his car to the wall in Hungary just a few rounds ago, had issues again with a wall in Turin, but here he is back again, and this car was making a serious amount of smoke earlier. Look how wide Christian Erlsson is on the initiation. Look at the speed as he comes through that front clip, nice and wide into the outer zone. This is looking good for Erlsson. Can he top qualifying with this run so far? This is very, very good, Dave.
Yeah, you got to look at the smoke, the angle, the speed, but also the fluidity. He's putting on a show here. Big angle on that wide swab in the front of this car. 932 horsepower,
Wow.
Absolutely destroying the tires on that car. And you know what? That's my favorite run so far.
Do you know what? I spoke to this guy a few rounds ago, and he said to me that he loves fast, flat-out circuits. Well, there you go, Christian. We gave you one, and you performed. What do you do in your score? As the judges have it. This could go either way. If they're deliberating, it could either be a big score or not as good as what we thought.
It's either top or we miss something and it's going to knock him back. But I think
it's going to be a big score.
Ian, forget about the judges.
Forget about them.
We
golden
liked it.
Buzzer moment.
Yeah, we liked it. We want it. So I think this is going to be a huge run.
Is this a good score for Christian Erlsson? Can he top qualifying as a score drops in?
I'm nervous.
Wow,
Look at this.
A 90.
A 90 for Christian.
Christian Erlsson, and he tops qualifying. Wow. And listen, he said he likes the tracks, and he said, put me on one and I'll perform.
There you go.
There you go.
You've had a couple of bad rounds.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, European drifting, welcome to Christian Erlsson.
And this is what we need. We need this to happen in this round, so it blows the championship apart. Dariusz Fabishak comes off the line, Dave. This guy ruined his car in the wall in Turin, but look at it now. It looks brand new as he fires it through that front clip. These guys, Dave, are really starting to up the game.
Absolutely. Fabishak with a little bit of understeer there. Just had to straighten up a bit, but gets right up on the curb and up close and personal with those inner clips. And Fabishak, as you mentioned, having some hits, having some impacts, but right now he's a hit with the German audience as he shreds that car across the line. Polish driver. You know what, the Polish, at the moment, leading the Nations Cup here in the Drift Masters European Championship. So Fabishak trying to, add some points to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I enjoyed that run for Fabishak. That was a very, very good technical run there for Dariusz Fabishak. Popping the cone off of that clipping point on that inner clip too. But what does he score? Do the judges like it as much as us? They certainly do. 74.3 for Dariusz Fabishak drops him into third position. And we keep it going on now. This guy didn't just come from an hour or two up the road, Dave, no. He came a long way.
Yeah, he came a long way. This car was shipped all the way from Jordan in the Middle East, representing Red Bull and Link Engine Management, amongst many others. He is a tuner from Jordan. His name is Ahmed Daham, and he's a 4-time Middle East champion. Well, right now with his 1,000 horsepower S15, let's see if he can make an impact here. Big qualifying run in Turin at the last round, but a little bit of understeer straight away for Daham as he lifts an inside wheel.
Yeah, look at that, popping the wheel again after he transitions, and Daham gets back into it. You can hear that car bang in the anti-lag as Daham stands on the accelerator. A nice transition to that outer zone 5. Good transition back into 6, keeps it planted and across the line as Daham takes it home. just a little wobble. If it wasn't for that mistake on initiation, I think De Ham would have done very, very well there.
Yeah, but it almost like he initiated the car at so much grip that it popped a wheel, an inside wheel, and then all of a sudden it sort of drew him towards the inside, hit that curb, and it just kind of got messy from there. So judges are going to watch for that. On a course like this, you can't afford to be making mistakes like that and expect to qualify. So I think even Ahmed De Ham himself will know there's room for improvement there.
Yeah, exactly. That's a score drops in for De Ham. It is a 64.7. So yeah, that mistake on initiation hurt any score ever so slightly. We move it along.
Jim Olofsson is still alive, Ian. He's still
alive.
How
is it possible?
Is he still alive? Well, I'm
How
sure,
is the car still alive?
I'm sure it's down to that Simpson Motorsport safety products, but Jim rolled this car twice on its roof in Raffia, then crashed into the wall hard enough in Turin
everything off
to take 2 wheels off the car. A couple of weeks later, hey, Jim's here, back again. What a hero of European drifting he's becoming.
Yeah, Jim Olofsson is becoming a true hero, like you're saying. Not scared, fires that car, and look at this absolutely perfect line, puts that front wheel right along the edge of that curb, doesn't get as deep into the outer zone 2 as we'd like to see, and he's going to push wide onto inner zone 2, but gets back into it, fulfills those outer zones lovely as he transitions back now, looking for the outer zone 7.
Yeah.
And flicks it across the line.
Jim Olofsson, 3rd place in the 2017 Swedish Drift Championship. Of course, he is a Swede himself. 750 horsepower M50 turbo, representing Simpson Race Products, Ignite Fuel, Panther Racing Fuel. He's one of those guys that you just don't know. He can, you know, he could go either way. But I think on that occasion, it was a more tentative run. I suppose if you're not on your roof or crashing into something, it's always going to seem a little bit more tentative. But it is still a great run from Jim Olofsson, and good to see him back out on track. A real testament to his team back at home in Sweden to get that car ready. 61 on the board for Jim Olofsson, puts him in a 14th position so far. And you know what I've been noticing, Ian? The curbs, because we're running this car, this track in reverse. The curbs are very harsh. So what's happening is if you go a little too wide here, that curb is hopping the rear end of the car, not allowing you to slow down for the hairpin. That's a little bit of inside information I've been noticing. Next up, Maciej Jarkovic, Polish driver, Toyota Supra 2JZ, 700 horsepower, and it looks every bit of it as he fires through the center section here in Hockenheim.
Yeah, whoa, very wide though, as Jarkovic gets back into it, saves himself from falling off track, but he completely avoids that second front clip, fires the car out to 7, and this is a wild run from Maciej Jarkovic.
Yeah, Jarkovic not doing exactly what he intended there, and that was, again, another driver unable to slow down. I mean, think about it. You're trying to go as fast as humanly possible through the first corner, then you got to slow down massively for the second corner, then you got to speed up again for the rest of the course. It's very difficult, requires a lot of car control, and some guys just struggling, which I thought would be the acceleration, but actually suffering a little bit with the deceleration in the center of the course.
Yeah, exactly. It's that scrubbing of the speed, like you say, that's catching everyone out, and a 54 there for Maciej Jarkovic, puts him into 22nd position. And we keep him going as we move on to our next driver of the day. It will be Mikael Overgaard now. Mikael Overgaard surprised us in Riga, almost took it all the way through to the top 4. This guy, I think he likes the fast open circuits. He's been shining today. Very, very good driving in practice from Mikael Overgaard.
I mean, this guy's won the biggest drift event in Denmark last season. Now he's here in Germany for one of the biggest events of this championship. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, fires it in, does Overgaard, nice and wide. Gets the front of the car, just shy of getting as close as what we'd like to see. Very, very straight, almost completely straight as he handbrakes in to that third outer zone, slows the car down nicely. This is technically correct, but I don't know. Something about that run that just wasn't...
Fluid.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Well, you're a commentator, and you got to know. You got to inform the people of what was wrong with it. We have a phrase in
something about it. I don't know what was up with it.
Phrase in Ireland. It's called wishy-washy.
Yes, that is exactly what it was.
There was moments of brilliance, but there was other moments where it wasn't so great, and I think
it was impactful because there was smoke, but he was kind of offline, and then he made rash decisions to get to clipping points. Didn't really flow.
Yes.
This is going to be a poor score, I feel, for Mikael Overgaard. I'll be surprised if it's not. I'm always wrong. Can I be right? That's 64.3, not the greatest score.
No, mid-pack.
Yeah.
And mid-pack's not going to get you there when the 60 driver's going for 32 spaces, or 60 plus.
Where the judges earlier on said that they're looking most guys in the 80s.
Yeah, next up on the line, a man having some issues in practice getting this car to work was Steve Biaggioni, but right now he's locked, loaded, and ready to represent Monster Energy ST suspension, and right now that V8 under the bonnet of this PS13 ready to rip and roar here in Hockenheim.
Yeah, as Bagsy fires it in, a lovely job getting to that first front clipping point, nice and wide into outer zone 2. And again, look at that, nice and wide into outer zone 3. Slows the car down. Look at the smoke coming from the back of Bagsy's car as he stands on the accelerator.
Yeah, just shortcutted the track a little bit there, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. He shortcutted it and gets it over the line. But yeah, I mean, shortcutted it from 5 to 6. It was a dive across the circuit. Not sure how the judges are going to make of that one, but very, very good. Apart from that, the first half of the run, the high-speed stuff was flawless, and he fulfilled all those outer zones.
Yeah, it was a fantastic run up until that point, and you know, something to work with. I mean, that's what a lot of these guys are doing on their first run, is put a score on the board and try to improve on those areas that they need to for the second run.
I was just shocked of how much smoke came from the back end of that Monster Energy PS13.
That is a beast of a car. That is just one of those cars that I don't even want to drive or know what's like. I don't think how you step into those cars. I mean, a very apt name is the Monster, because that car has a crazy V8 under the bonnet, and it's like a growl. It's like it barks at you when it's in lining up in practice. 65.7 for Steve Bagsy Biaggioni puts him into 11th position, representing, of course, the United Kingdom here this weekend. Moving along, representing the home nation, Germany, is Max Heidrich.
Yeah, Max Heidrich, like you say, representing the home ground. This guy looking very, very calm earlier in practice. Too calm for my likings, Dave, for a man that's about to fire his car over 80 mile an hour into a turn on a Formula 1 circuit. But Max Heidrich,
oh, catch a little understeer again there, Ian, but getting back on it nicely, pushing wide to the edge of the circuit. Heidrich on home ground here. Look at the angle.
Oh, big angle. 2 JZ under the bonnet. Hops the curb, takes the cone down as Heidrich now looks to fulfill the final 3 outer zones.
You know, he risked it there for big impact going on the big angle, but just hopped that curb and hit the cone. Judges will actually mark him down for that. They want to see the drivers just scrape by the curb, not hop up on top of it. So he's going to be docked a little bit, but I like the run.
I liked it.
A little wobble on the initiation, just trying to get the car to move sideways. Once he got it sideways, it was a fantastic. Look at this, just popping the car up. There you go, 2 front wheels off the ground as he came through. You don't want to do that.
He's not
a motorbike.
This judges did like it though, and they dropped him in with a 71, so that puts Max Heidrich into 7th position at the moment.
Bravery points in there for the first man to drive through a corner on 2 wheels, on a wheelie.
Did a wheelie.
This
guy up next, another guy representing the UK, it will be the 2017 and current British Drift Champion, Matt Carter, representing Max's Tyres, Jap Speed, Garage D and CMG Recovery. Hashtag the Door Hunter, Dave. Well, we haven't really seen it this year. We haven't seen Matt Carter shine, but he knows this circuit. Matt Carter used to come here many moons ago and do drift demos with his Team Falcon, Team Green teammates. What can Matt Carter do? He's got some experience under his belt, and now looks like the car is working 100% as he fires it in. Nice initiation from Carter. Look at the angle that Matt Carter puts into that front clip, sacrifices outer zone 2, but knows that he needs to put it all on the line. This very good job getting to that second front clip as he transitions back now into outer zone 4. Carter stands on the accelerator, destroys the Max's tyres as he puts it to clipping point 7 and pulls it over the line.
A lot of speed.
Very fast.
And the entry was probably one of the best all day. Erlandson was still better, I think.
Yeah.
But that entry was just...
It was a risk or reward.
Yeah.
It was throw it all out there and let's see what happens.
You got to have testicular fortitude to pull things off like that. And that was just a big angle, throw it in, full throttle, see what happens. And he was a little shy of clipping zone 3, in my opinion. Yeah. But other than that, he was on full throttle, almost coming through the hairpin. So he used the car's sort of momentum to get him through rather than slowing up dramatically. So I think judges are going to like that. But still some errors here and there. Not perfect. Haven't seen the perfect run. And is someone going to challenge Erlandson? Because 78.3 for Matt Carter, good score, puts him in 3rd. But look how far Christian Erlandson is ahead of everybody else.
A 90.
A 90's just jumped him way up.
Yeah, week even we go though. Tobias Pushan sits on the line.
Yeah, I like Pushan. He always pushes this car super fast into every corner. A little pun for you there.
Little pun.
And he also is one of those drivers, always smiling, always having a good time. And again, look at that clutch kick entry, just not getting the angle and then dialing it on, but he's going to wash wide. Nice from
job.
Tobias Pushan.
Yeah, very, very good job so far from Pushan. BMW 4.4 V8 under the bonnet with a huge turbo bolted to the side of it. Completely sacrifices 3 and makes a shortcut across the circuit. But tidies it back up and gets to outer zone 7, does Pushan, and takes it over the line. Good. Good speed, good first part of the track. Just some drivers sacrificing just little bits of the circuit to make it a good run. And yeah, I mean, that's why Erlandson is way up there with a 90.
Yeah, cool wrap on that car also from Rap Style. Really like the look of that E30 BMW. Really, really nice. And let's see exactly what he scores here, because this is going to set the benchmark for him for the second run. We're starting to see that mid-pack fill up, 71.3 into 8th position. So we're seeing scores dropping in here. Now, of course, we're in reverse championship order, so as we get to the guys fighting it out for the championship, they will be pushing probably a little bit harder just to make sure they're staying in the championship. But one guy that's impressed me massively this year is Kajetan Rutina. This Mercedes-Benz is one of the coolest cars in the grid. I don't even accept an argument against that.
No, exactly that. And under the bonnet is a V8 supercharged AMG engine as Kajetan Rutina took James Dean out of competition at this round last year.
Oh, got himself a little caught on the inside there.
Had to back way out of it, get off the throttle. You can see now starts to stand back into it and make some tyre smoke. But Rutina making a little error there. Like I say, last year took James Dean down at this track, Dave.
Yeah, and you know what? We're watching him in practice, I wouldn't be surprised. He took an AMG 55 engine, put it into an old school Mercedes-Benz and went and beat the world champion last year. That guy is an unpredictable entity out there. But however, the first run, he got himself a little caught on the inside of the hairpin. I don't think judges are going to like that.
No, exactly that. Yeah, I mean, listen, backing out of it there, not really where the judges want to see you off throttle completely. So where does he drop in? Can he get up the order? And look at this, Kajetan Rutina sits himself into second position with an 81.3 and breaks the 80s.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of the judges looking at that technicality, the speed and fluidity everywhere else on the course, enough for him to get that. If he tidies up that one little error that I picked on quite a bit there, he will actually be right up there at the top. So that shows you. That's why this guy has that potential on this circuit. Next up, Michael Reichardt. Michael Reichardt is ready to take to the circuit. Another driver from the Czech Republic. Started drifting in 2013, and look at the entry from Michael Reichardt. There is no way he just pulled that off, and he does.
Wow, look at that from Michael Reichardt as he fires that car. Can he slow it down? Whoa, takes that, comes out that wall backwards through clipping point 2 there. That front clipping point 2 sacrifice 4. The impact that he is laying down is unbelievable as Michael Reichardt takes it across the line.
There must be a chemical imbalance in this man's brain, because that was the most insane run I've seen today. It certainly won't impress the judges. You can't take down the outer clipping zones. You can't, crash into things. But from my perspective, I think, look at this initiation. Throws it one way, then the other, and look at the angle he's carrying here. Look, wow. Keeps it going, a little bit of front brake, but this is even more impressive. He goes wide, hits everything there is to hit, and then all of a sudden he's on backwards, and it's crazy. But then he's got to look, he's on the wrong line here, has to jump across the corner. But not so bad, though. I think judges are wondering, was it 2 wheels off the circuit? Was it a 0 when he went and hit those water barriers?
Yeah, exactly that. So we await the score to drop in from our judges.
I think you should get 408 because it was the craziest run.
Not possible, Dave. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I'm not in the judging seat.
It's
but
not possible.
I'm a man of pure delight when I see people pushing beyond the limits.
Smoke, big angles, smashing stuff, wrecking their cars. Look at this.
Is he off the circuit?
I don't know. I don't think he is technically. I think the outside of that is the edge of the circuit. And look at this, a 75. So judges liking it enough for 5th position. So Michael Reichardt making a move in the championship.
And he gets an extra 25 points for impressing me. So yeah, 100 points
so
out of 100.
perfect run.
Yep. Moving along for Benediktas Chirba. Benediktas in this, you can't mistake this bright yellow BMW. It's been in the mix and in every fight this year at every circuit. Benediktas, one of the most talented drivers on the grid, representing Lithuania. Just 24 years of age. Finished 3rd in the Lithuanian Championship last year. You're about to see why. This guy's a really talented driver.
Yeah, this is unbelievable so far from Benediktas Chirba. This could challenge Christian Erlsson's run. Nice transition into 4. Can he pull it off and put it on nice angle as he gets into 7 and over the line? That is an unbelievable run there from Benediktas Chirba. Like you say,
what?
He's been in the fight all year. He's been in there. He's been in the mix. Every now and then he pops up.
And he's always qualified well.
Yeah,
he's always been one of those guys, very consistent, gets the job done. And being consistent with this kind of a motorsport is very difficult.
So is it enough to break into the 80s and start filling up those spaces?
Yes, it is. 86.7 for Benediktas Chirba, puts him in the 2nd position. Christian Erlsson holds on for now, but the big score is starting to drop in. And one man that's put some big scores in at round 1 this year in Płocka, Poland was Enver Haskasap. Enver, who is one of the most improved drivers I've ever seen in the history of drifting in the last year. From North Cyprus, he is the man to watch right now.
Yeah, this guy, like you say, impressed us no end, but massive error on initiation. Is there a problem with the car? Huge understeer as Haskasap takes it off track. huge problems with Haskasep's car. He cruises back across the circuit again. It's going to be a clear up for Haskasep's.
We heard sort of a bang there. Now, what I was wondering what it was.
Look at the understeer.
I'm thinking he might have punctured the front tire. Watch when he comes back onto the circuit. Watch how hard it hits the curb here. I think this might have punctured the front tire on the car. Boom. And yeah, he's limping away from the circuit, and I'm not too sure if that front tire may be an issue. That would be a good spot by me, Ian. I've been around a while, and I think either a steering problem or he's broken something on the front end of the car, but it was just coming back on that curb. Oh, that does look like there's issues on the front end of that car, big time.
Yeah, that's not looking good there. So yeah, we make it official. Enver Haskasep scores a 0 for his first qualifying run.
Yeah, he's a 4-time North Cyprus champion. He'll recover from that. He'll come back out for his second run. I think he just couldn't get the car to move there.
No, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. And it looked like it did it from the point that he went to initiate. You know, he flicked the car opposite in the centre of the track. And yeah, just kind of went wrong from there on out, really. So as we get our track marshals down there to clear up the circuit.
Yeah, they're available during the week for your own house if you want a little bit of spring cleaning done. You can hire the guys from the Drift Masters track team. They do it in about 5 minutes. Your whole house.
The whole house, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it here. Just as the flames popping from the car, but he lost it just here. Look at the understeer. No control of the front end of the car.
Oh, he did DB'd as well. I see a little puff of...
Yeah, and a big impact with the you can't see anything. Just disappeared.
Gone.
Yeah, and this is the aftermath. Mess.
Just
pure mess on the track.
But you know what, Dave? Everyone at home would be happy. No concrete walls, no damaged cars.
Yeah, if there was a concrete wall there, that would have been a different story. But at the same time, the reason they guys clean, you say, why just leave the dirt on the track? Well, it's got to be the same grip levels for every single driver. That's so important in qualifying and right throughout the event. So big props to the guys out there. Sweeping up a storm and keeping that track clean.
Hopefully no storms.
Hopefully no storm. We had a storm last night.
We had a very bad storm last night, yeah. Big lightning, a lot of rain, flooded the circuit, in fact. And
yeah, Ian hid under the bed.
I hid under Dave's bed.
Yeah, I was like, Ian, it's okay, you're inside, you can't get hit by lightning.
You're in a hotel.
He wasn't taking any chances.
Nope.
Scary stuff, Ian.
Very scary stuff.
But luckily, we are back with some relatively blue skies today and a blue and white car on the start line. Andreas Vasiliauskas, who is one of the heavyweights of this championship. 27 years of age, E92 M3, 800 horsepower. Ian, big things expected from him here. Loves these big, fast tracks.
Yeah, this car suits it as well as he fires in that turbo system, Z92. Look at this. Oh, Vasiliauskas pops a wheel off the floor. Unbelievable amounts of grip. Full throttle transition from Vasiliauskas now as he hunts down that front clip. Very good job from Vasiliauskas. Gets it into that fourth outer zone, fulfills it completely. Good transition back now through the cut through. Big angle as he sticks it to clipping point 7.
Oh, I don't know, Ian. That could be tough.
That could be close to top. What a run.
He did it on 3 wheels through the first quarter.
Did you see it when it popped a wheel? Unbelievable stuff from Vasiliauskas.
That is when you
brave, stupid,
impressive.
Impressive.
So I think, from my perspective, Ian, I think that's going to be right up there.
I think that could contend for top spot. I think. Do you know what?
Look at this. Watch this.
Watch.
2 wheels on the front.
Accelerates and pops a wheelie.
Pops a wheelie and then it drops. Look, it pops up again.
Oh, he's only fourth in.
He's back up again.
He's flat in 4th gear. It's easy though, Dave.
Look, at 70 miles an hour, I often do it, Ian. 70 miles an hour. Sometimes you just want to turn.
In the truck?
Yeah, you just want to turn, and then you just pop a wheel up and say, "Look, that's how I go around corners. That's how I do it." Just casual motorsport there.
So one thing you got to bear in mind though is we're getting very excited because these are some phenomenal runs in qualifying. This is a very good qualifying session so far. What you got to think is James Dean. It's going to be the last car out.
I think
James Dean's got car problems. He's going to have to score over a 90. What's Vasiliauskas going to score,
I think he may go top. I think and he does go top. And a 90.7 for Andreas Vasiliauskas. Sorry to correct you, he would have to score over a 90.7.
Now
Andreas Vasiliauskas sets the target at that huge score. Very impressive.
Very impressive stuff there.
And, well, what's going to beat that? That's the question. Will Sebastian Fonten from the Netherlands have an answer?
Well, he comes off the line. The Dutch champion in 2015, 650 horsepower, 2JZ under the bonnet. Look at that, locking up the front wheels. Fonten stands on this car, taking big damage in Turin just weeks ago. What has he got? as Fontaine looks absolutely dialed now. Look at these guys. Fontaine, whoa, almost takes the water barriers out very wide as he comes through the centre of the circuit. Sebastian Fontaine stands on the accelerator, takes it to clipping point 7 and across the line. That is a very good run there from our Dutch champion.
A lot of style in that run.
That is him though, isn't it? That's Sebastian
I think that's
Fontaine.
the way he is. I think he's just an entertaining driver to watch, and I think every time he goes out there and he's confident, you get runs like that, which are technically very good runs and lots of angle, lots of smoke. And you know what? I'm starting to think that maybe tomorrow's main event might just be insane, because these guys are going to do this door on door at over 70, 80 miles an hour. Look at this, an 86 from Sebastian Fontaine, putting himself into 4th position. Ian, the scores are coming in hot and heavy right now.
I mean, listen, that's a 4th place score, 86. They are high. We move it along to the Acorn Insurance driver, Nigel Colfer, representing SB Motorsport, ST Suspension. As Colfer won this round last year, what has he got? He throws it a big angle. The Irishman, with a whole host of podiums under his belt in Europe, stands on the accelerator and powers this 2JZ S13 across the centre of the circuit as Nigel Colfer absolutely nails it. Look at this from Nigel Colfer.
It's a big run. I mean, he had a little bit of a wobble coming into that first corner. Other than that, it was very, very good. Had to go, of course, a man that's been competing for over 12 years in Ireland and Europe and has over 50 podiums to his name. So he's got the experience, but will he get the score from the judges to justify him getting right up into the top 5 in the qualifying session? I honestly don't know what these guys got to do more to get higher than 91. I don't know. Is it out there?
I don't even know. Well, let's find out what Nigel Colfer scores as the score drops in from our judges. A 76 for Nigel Colfer.
Yeah, that outer zone 3, that's what's costing
it's
those.
It's catching everyone, yeah, exactly that.
So we move on to our next driver, and it is going to be the pride of Latvia, Jānis Iglīte, 4-time Latvian champion, 2-time Baltic champion, and an Eastern European champion. Well, that's a list of credentials. He's also got the power too, 800 horsepower from an LS1 twin turbo. Jānis Iglīte, never too far away from the top of qualifying. I'm expecting a big run here.
Yeah, he was looking very, very good in practice earlier, the Tri Ace Tyres Wisefab driver, putting it all on the line. And yeah, you know what, another guy that likes these fast-flowing circuits, his home ground is the Riga Latvia track, and looked good there, his home ground. Well, can he look good here in Hockenheim in Germany as he comes off the line? What has Jānis Iglīte got as he fires that LS1 Turbo E46 BMW in? Look at this, Iglīte, nice into that front clip, not as deep into outer zone 2 like we'd like to see. Slows the car down now and just gets around that front clip too nicely. Shortcuts the circuit though, drops clipping point 4. The judges are going to hurt him on the score ever so slightly there on that one.
Yeah, it just sounded like he let the car drop out of the revs just ever so slightly and a little bit too much, and just had to kick that car back.
Yeah, and it just had to shortcut it.
And that was the only real error there. Everything else looked pretty smooth, calm and collected from Jānis Iglīte, and the Latvian driver is proving why he's considered one of the best on this grid.
So we wait for the score to drop in there from Jānis Iglīte. I think he'd just be happy to get a good score on the board for his first qualifying run, then make it all happen on the second one. But look at this, an 84 for Jānis Iglīte. Judges like what they see there from Iglīte.
Yeah, and again, if he had just tidied up that one error.
Listen, he's got one more run. He could put it all out there and get himself in the 90s. So it's all to play for. We move it along. The Red Bull Drift brothers, one half of the Brotherhood clan. It will be Joe Hutunji, the local guy. This guy knows this circuit like the back of his hand, and they both put it out in practice. Well, what has Joe Hutunji got? The current and reigning King of Europe champion sticks it nice and deep into outer zone 3. Fires that car now, slows it down. Very, very good job there on that front clip. And this is looking absolutely perfect right now from Joe Hutunji as he sends it into outer zone 7 and takes it over the line. Very, very good run there from Joe Hutunji.
Yeah, do you know what? He's been coming on leaps and bounds. I mean, of course, he's coming in here as a huge champion from the King of Europe series, but had a little bit of adjustment in style into this championship. And as it's progressed, he's gone from very consistent to exceptional. And I think he's going to have one of the strongest finishes to the season.
Technically, for me, that was a high score. Look at this, an 88.3 for Joe Hutunji. Yeah, sorry, Dave. Listen, that was pinpoint perfect to the clipping points. A little bit more style, a little bit more impact. I can see him breaking the 90s with that score.
I think he's got it in him to go top here if he can just go those little errors.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Next up, Ivo Cirulis, another driver who's been phenomenal in the championship this year. A guy I wasn't so familiar with at the start of the season. Now I'm a big fan. This guy throws it in hard every time.
Yeah, look at this. Cirulis almost popping a wheel as he transitions now into that outer zone 3. Slows the car down perfectly as he gets the front of it wrapped around front clipping point 2. Gets nice and deep. Oh, but messes it up on 4.
And just shuts it down. He just gave up on the run.
Very, very good run up to that point. Completely fulfilled that outer zone 4. So not sure whether Ivo Cirulis there, car issues potentially. Car running a 2JZ under the bonnet, 670 horsepower, ABC clutch kit, field suspension and Wisefab running gear. So we do make it official. Yeah, it will be a 0 there for Ivo Cirulis. As we move it along to our next driver on the line will be that other half of the Brotherhood clan. It will be Eli Hutunji. Now, Eli Hutunji, problems in practice. The car cut out. He got it onto the middle of the circuit, and he was there for a long time trying to get it back in to get it repaired. Looks like it's working now, but is there problems with Eli Hutunji's car?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, and he's taking his time to get to the start line. He may be just making sure the car is 100%. I mean, I would want to be pretty confident in my car if I was throwing it in a top 4th gear over 80 miles an hour into a first corner. But here's the thing, Eli's sitting higher in the championship than his brother Joe, and I'm not saying they have a sibling rivalry, but I'm creating one anyway.
But you're making it, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's what it's all about.
I like that.
Yeah, just make it up. You know, they're having arguments now. I'm joking, but Eli is such a nice guy. They're both such nice guys. But the thing for me is Joe's put a monstrous run in there, like 88 something. That's a perfect start to his qualifying session. And can Eli go out there now and one up his brother? He's done it in the past, Ian.
He has indeed, Dave. As Eli Hutunji comes off the line, the Borbert Bilstein, a Red Bull sponsored driver, throws his E30 at BMW in LSX under the bonnet. Look at that very tidy job on that front clip. Not as deep into the outer zone 2 like we'd like to see as he locks the front wheel up. Good job on that front clip too. Now this is where it all counts. Get into this outer zone 4 and fulfilling it. He does perfect job. Is where you get some real good points. Gets back into it, stands on the accelerator and smokes.
Oh, I don't know.
The tyres, that's a very good run there.
I think Joe Hutunji's under pressure now.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that's another big score. Those Red Bull Drift Brothers, man, they go incredibly hard. And of course, now they're here in this circuit.
Yeah.
You know, they took Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen for laps of this circuit just a couple of weeks ago at the Formula 1. So they have a little bit of extra, just, you know, knowledge on the surface.
A little bit more seat time, yeah.
Let's see if it counts for anything here as Eli Hutunji lets his score drop in from the judges, 85.3. On this occasion, Joe Hutunji, just in the first half of qualifying. Not a lot in it, though. Going to be some smiles all around in their camp as we move along to our next driver. It is Jack Shanahan, the current Irish drift champion, saying he's liking this track this morning. Those Tri-Ace tires working really, really well on the Link Engine Management S14. Let's see how he does here in qualifying.
Yeah, as he fires it in. Look at that nice angle from Shanahan. Oh, a little wobble on the steering wheel, but it gets back into it, almost popping the front wheel off. Nice and deep into outer zone 2. Slows the car down now as he looks for that front clip, but he's way off, carrying miles too much speed. He manages to stand back on it and get it into outer zone 4, but he's lost a lot of points there, Dave, completely missing that front clip.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Jack Shanahan is capable of a 100-point run here. I think just pushing a little too hard to the center section. Tried to go for the big angle into that hairpin, but just carried too much speed, and it just messed up his line a little bit there. So judge is going to hurt him a little bit on that, but never count Jack Shanahan out of a qualifying session. He'll always throw it in a little bit harder than everyone else, find his feet, and put a good score on the board. So let's see if he can salvage anything from that first run.
Yeah, as the scores drop in there for Jack Shanahan, where does he end up in qualifying after his first run? It will be a 75 in 12th position for Jack Shanahan.
Not bad, not bad.
No, something to work with. You know, it's a good score, and like you say, Jack Shanahan's going to come hard on the next one. We move it along to this guy, David Karkoshik. Again, this car looking immaculate. How he does it, Dave, I don't know. How
this is not the same car that left Poland.
Because it's complete. The one in Poland was in 55 bits.
And this is all perfect again. Incredible commitment to looking like one of the coolest guys on the grid, but also his driving ability. Wow, he's absolutely hammering the throttle here.
Yeah, sacrificing that outer zone 2, though. And look at that, completely drops that second front clip. He needs to get back into it for Phil's out of zone 4 now as Karkoshik gets back into it. He's very quick, but making a whole host of errors. I think for me, the initiation drop in the wheel kind of upset him.
Yeah, but it sounded like he ran out of gearing. I mean, it sounded like the car has the power.
He was just
it was just full throttle, and it wasn't really creating the wheel speed he wanted, so it hurt him a little bit there. But again, I mean, we're being so critical of guys doing incredible things in vehicles right now.
This is the level where it's at, and this is what we say. We are
we too harsh, Ian?
No,
maybe
we're not.
No. I think you're
Not
too
in my
harsh.
book.
You're too harsh. I'm liking everything. You're just way too harsh. You're like the bad. We'll have like a good cop, bad cop thing going on here.
Like the Simon Cowell.
Yep, that's who you are.
I hate everything, you like everything.
Yeah, I love it. I love it all.
Is it good enough to get into the 90s and make James Dean's job really hard? Look at this, a 65.3. Not that good, Dave. Like I said, it wasn't a great run.
No. And on this occasion, you may have been correct. So Eddie's on the line, and we're just going to have a quick catch up with Eddie Power on the ground. What's the feeling like there on the start line, Eddie?
Dave, Ian, I'm down here at the gridding area, and at the moment you can see behind me fifth and sixth position in the championship gridding up, but no sign of first, second and third. I took a little quick walk through the pits, and those guys working on their cars. Is this championship about to be blown wide open right here in qualifying? We're about to find out in a few moments' time as things are getting really tense down here at Hockenheim. No sign of our championship leaders at the moment.
Wow. Eddie Power saying the top 3 in the championship not even on the grid because they're in working on their cars.
Well, I mean, we haven't got many drivers left, Dave. We've got about 5 drivers, and then we will be.
Yeah.
We start getting through the order now, and the top guys in the championship. First up is Krzysztof Romanowski.
I still can't believe this car is back in one piece after an incredibly big smash with the wall and pole. He had one of the biggest impacts of the weekend. In fact, 2 of the biggest impacts with the same wall. And look, he's back here looking brand new and driving like a man possessed. Impressive stuff from Krzysztof Romanowski. Remember taking that incredible podium at Riga earlier in the year. A man definitely capable of sneaking up in the championship into those top 3 positions if our top 3 in the championship are having troubles. Also, very nice guy, always smiling, like Krzysztof's.
He's currently 11th, Dave, in the championship. Do you know that? Krzysztof Romanowski is just outside that top 10 at championship.
Really?
Where does he score? Oh, and the judge is talking about this one. It
Well,
was a very good run technically, just lacked a little bit of impact.
I was just thinking in my head privately, but now I'm going to share it publicly, that if this standard of driver, Krzysztof Romanowski, I consider one of the best drivers in Europe, is in 11th in this championship, goes to show the quality of driving here is insane.
So where does Krzysztof Romanowski land after his first qualifying run? A 70.3, a 70.3 puts him into 21st position.
Yeah, work to do there, Ian, and a guy that's looking for another bit of form is Tor Arne Kavia from Norway. This guy is in the top 10 of the championship right now, and one of the most entertaining drivers on the grid. I call him the Norwegian sledgehammer because he goes harder than anybody else I've seen on this grid, but is it going to pay off in his favor here as he throws it in extremely hard into that first corner?
Well, as he fires it in, Kavia, a little bit of understeer, but he gets back into it, sacrifices out of zone 2, a big angle for, and sacrifices 3. Kavia needs to be careful now. He's making a few errors. Is Tor Arne Kavia gets nice and deep into out of zone 5, as he transitions back.
Yeah, and he's across the line. I mean, I love his style. I think he really comes alive in the twin battles. Remember, this is just qualifying. If you're tuning in and you've never watched drifting before, this is the boring part of the show, where we send 2 cars head-to-head. Tomorrow is the main event, but to make that main event, you've got to put in those single runs. And Kavia, I think he's leaving himself some work to do here in the second.
Yeah, he certainly is. So where does Kavia land after his first qualifying run? Kavia, remember, off round 1, finished 3rd on the podium. And Kavia needing a very, very good round. A 73.7 puts Kavia into 16th position so far. So mid-pack score there for Tor Arne Kavia. 73.7 is the middle of the board at the moment.
And he'll be disappointed with that.
Yeah,
he'll not be happy with that. So here's one of my favorite cars on the grid.
Now, let me tell you something.
Tell me, Ian.
I watched him earlier in practice, and he didn't look good at all.
Really? The man that finished second at the last round?
The man that finished second at Turin just 2 weeks ago, Pavel Trela, didn't look comfortable as he fires in that little Opel GT to JZ under the bonnet, completely misses that front clip one as he transitions back. Oh, he's overcooked it. Wow. And he, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying,
You did
Dave?
not predict it, Ian. You were just
Told you he didn't look
assuming.
good. Told you he didn't look good.
Is it the car? Is it the wheelbase? Is it this
it's
track?
It's like he's done that every single run I've watched him drive. So, could it all be over, potentially?
Well, he's got one more run.
One
and
more
also,
run. But it seems like every time I watched him run this weekend, sacrifices to front. Also, it was just getting some information to say that he's been working on his car and he's changed the wheelbase. It will be a 0. Let's make it official for Pavel Trella.
Well, then, I mean, he's obviously adjusting. He's
yeah.
adjusting to a new setup. But you know, when you're in the top 10 in the championship,
that's not what you want to be doing.
No, you don't want to be adjusting. So interesting enough that Trella scores a 0.
And it was like every time that he got to that point, though, in practice, he spun the car. The car didn't want to transition back. It was like it wanted to go a big angle and just spin. Very, very strange. As we see Pavel Korpelinski now pull up to the line. This guy impressed us no end. And this guy, he was looking good in practice. He fired the car in. Very, very confident stuff from Korpelinski. And
one of the guys you were picking out into
yeah,
top qualifying.
I said, you know what, he's up there this weekend. As Korpelinski comes off the line, the Polish driver, 1M BMW 2JZ, fires it in nice and deep. Look at this very tidy line so far through that first clip, nice and deep into outer zone 3.
He looks really at home here on this circuit.
Look at this. Yeah, Korpelinski gets it in outer zone 5. I keep saying it's 4, it's 5. I'm getting confused.
A nice finish, and of course, Ian, Matt's not your strong point. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say he has been the most impressive driver this season in this championship. Mostly to me, because I wasn't too aware of his previous record. He is right up there. He is a phenomenal driver, and it goes to show every run he does, you just get this sense that he's so comfortable behind the wheel. He's so confident. We're at over 80 miles an hour here. How are you even comfortable at that?
The thing for me as well, watching him in practice earlier on, he was very fast. His pace against another car in twin battle practice was phenomenal. So doesn't really show it in the live feed camera. We always say it, that you don't really get an aspect of speed on the live feed. But where can Pavel Korpelinski drop in? He's 8th for the championship. He could jump ahead and do some damage. An 89.3 drops Korpelinski into 3rd position after his first qualifying run.
He's coming for it, and he's coming for that championship. Everybody better watch out for Pavel Korpelinski. And we move on to another huge heavyweight from Poland. This man, Bartosz Stolarski. What a machine, what a driver, what a package.
Yeah, this guy is an all-round package. Polish OG driver. He's been around for a very long time. What has Stolarski got as he fires in the LS2 turbo, 1100 horsepower S14.
Did you say 1100 horsepower?
Yep, just 1100 horsepower. Oh, messes up the line as he comes through that second clip. Sorry, gets nice into the outer zone, transitions through the middle of the circuit.
Maybe not as confident as we've seen him on some runs in the past.
Yeah.
But again, it's only, you know,
it's the first qualifying run.
You can do the second run and just pretend this never happens, because that's what drifting is all about. You got 2 runs, it's your best run that counts. So if you're going to do it, you may as well do it, put a comfortable score on the first run. And even at the last run, remember, he qualified 32nd in Torun and went through the pack.
Yeah.
He's been struggling a little bit with qualifying towards the latter parts of this championship, and he'll hope to rectify that in the second run. I don't think this is going to set the scoreboard alight, but it's a solid score, and that's important.
It certainly is. So where does Bartosz Stolarski land? And look at this, a 74.3.
Right in the mid-pack, Ian.
Drops him in the middle. That's good for him.
And he knows, you know, it's a comfortable place to be to attack the second run. Speaking of men that are always on the attack, it is the youngster and the current and reigning defending Drift Masters European champion, Adam Zalewski. Had a big hit with the wall in Turin at round 4 in his home event, and he comes in here very, very hot.
Yeah, very fast is Adam Zalewski, the Zestino's driver. 2JZ under the bonnet of this BMW E30 as he stands on the accelerator, gets it around that second front clip and fulfills outer zone 4, looking nice and tidy so far from Zalewski as he takes it over the line. A very confident drive there from the 2017 reigning Drift Masters European champion.
And just to shake things up a little bit, we're getting word from the pit that Paweł Borkowski will not make his first qualifying run, meaning the championship is getting blown open right away. 3rd place in the championship, not making his first qualifying run, having issues with the car. And Zalewski now looking, he can smell the blood in the water here. He's trying to jump up that order. Started poorly in the season, broke 8 rear drive shafts in this car. I mean, that's all the drive shafts there is in Poland, so he just couldn't get any more, and he had no points to start with. Now look at him, he's right back up in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's sitting way up the order at the moment in 6th place. Where can he do in qualifying as he drops into 3rd place with an 89.7, just not breaking the 90s just yet for Adam Zalewski.
And you know what? An 89.7, not enough to break into the top 2. That is incredible.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff. As we move it along to Juha Poitalaksko, the Finnish driver, Finnish champion and current and reigning Drift GP champion, comes off the line.
Yeah, sitting 5th in the championship right now. Time to make the attack for the last 2 rounds. And Poitalaksko looks poised and ready to dominate this Hockenheim. Oh, a little bit wide though, Ian. A little bit wide on that inner clip, just when it looked like it was all coming together, made that error.
Yeah, look, for me, it was a very, very good run up to that point, but he's still holding it together as he takes it to the outer zone 7 across the line. As Poitalaksko, yeah, listen, for me, if he wouldn't have dropped that clip, that would have been a very good run. That could have been the top 3, for sure.
He had it all right up until the hairpin.
Right. He was very deep into the outer zone 3 as well. He even knocked over a barrier. I mean, we've not seen many guys that have been that deep into that so far.
Yeah, well, let's see what Poitalaksko can do. And you know what? He has all the horsepower at his disposal. 80.7 puts him into 11th position right now. Impressive stuff, even with the error. So looking poised and ready for the battles tomorrow. Conor Shanahan now sits on the line. Won the first round, but hasn't had the fortune since. A lot of bumps, a lot of bangs, a lot of broken rear ends, and a lot of crashes. But right now, he still sits in the business end of the championship. Let's see what he can get done here. Of course, just 15 years of age. Oh, and a big error straight away, and it shuts the car down.
Yeah, he had a massive off in practice. Photographer actually showed me a photo of Conor Shanahan's car with the 2 front wheels in the air as he was on the grass.
Wow.
And the car did the same thing again. He fired it in, it shut down and sent him onto the grass. So problems there for Shanahan. We need to make that official. Currently sitting 5th in the championship. So top 5 driver. Currently scoring a 0.
I'm actually going to correct you there, Ian. Currently sitting 4th in the championship.
4th. My
yeah,
bad.
so
My
the
mistake.
4th place driver in the championship does not score on his first run. The third place driver will not make his run. And right now, we see James Dean and Gregor Shipke making it to the circuit. So we will have our 1 and 2 in the championship making it into qualifying. And those 2 guys have been the guys to watch all year.
It's been a dogfight between these 2 guys all year. It seems like we get to the final and it's Gregor Shipke versus James Dean, and unfortunately we see him battle earlier on in Turin.
You know what I love about this battle? 2 completely different chassis, 2 completely different driving styles, and 2 completely different backgrounds in the sport, but able to go toe-to-toe at every round. And again, Hipke will have a little look across at James Dean and say, this ain't over yet, buddy. And Hipke likes these fast circuits. He loves them.
Yeah, he certainly does. So Hipke pulls to the line. He knows he needs to pull it all out of the bag here. He's looking very, very fast in practice. One of the fastest guys around the circuit. We know James Dean hasn't had a lot of practice off the line. 2nd place in the championship right now from Poland is Gregor Shipke. What can he do?
It's time to make a statement. If he's going to make one, he's got to make it now.
Look at this, pops a wheel up, very nice line as he gets through that first front clip. Very, very fast, it's back on the accelerator nice and lady, but he's very wide on that 2nd front clip. That's going to hurt his score massively as Hipke stands back on the accelerator and comes through the centre of the circuit now. He transitions into the 2 final outer zones, and Hipke across the line already.
Yeah, it's not the perfect start to the qualifying session for him. He always says this, so I had a conversation with him after. I'm not going to say where it was at the after party. He was basically saying that he's not a big man for qualifying very well. He says when he comes alive, it's the battles. When he's door on door, that's when he feels the vibe and gets the adrenaline. So he just wants to get to those battles. And just on another note, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Gregor Shipke to finish a little bit down the order here in qualifying to
give himself an easier ride.
To maybe meet James Dean a little earlier in the competition to get those points back in the championship. Just saying, it's not a tactic, but it could work in his favour.
So where does he land? And he does land mid-pack, Dave, bang in the middle, 15th position for Gregor Shipke with a 75.7. So he's done what he set out to do, and you know what? Sometimes get a bit of an easier run when the middle of the pack. You're battling guys at a similar pace to you, similar consistencies. Well, we move it along to this guy on the line. Current and reigning Formula Drift champion, Budmat Worthhouse Falcon tyre sponsor, James Dean fires his teal and blue S14 in, and look at this as Dean stands on the accelerator nice and deep into that 2nd zone. Fires it almost backwards into 3. He's a bit shy though. Gets that 2nd front clip. And what has Dean got? Gets it nice into that outer zone, transitions through the middle of the circuit, back on the accelerator again as Dean absolutely nails the line. But is it enough to top qualifying as James Dean, current Formula Drift, a reigning champion and current points leader.
You know what? He pulled almost a backwards initiation into the 2nd corner. For me, technically, that could go top. That's a big score. you know, the judges are going to go out there and try and criticize, but for me, if you look at all those scores back to back, technically he was where he needed to be. Was it on the edge? Maybe not, but I mean, I think they probably will look at Erlandsson's run now and say, you know, he had big angle, big smoke, it was incredible, that scored up. A lot of these guys right now, putting it up to these guys at the top end of the sport like James Dean, so he's not going to have an easy ride here of getting to top of qualifying, but I do think from watching the run and watching all those previous runs, he did enough, in my opinion, to get himself right up into the mix, into the conversation at least at the top, if not take it.
Yeah, I definitely think he'd be up in the top 5, that's for sure. Don't know if it's enough to top Erlandson, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past numerous times. Just a couple of things for me that Dean, you know, he didn't get all the way out to some of the zones. Where does James Dean land after his first qualifying run, the current points leader?
Yeah, let's see where he drops in at 90. So he goes into the 2nd position. That's a big run from James Dean, perfect for what he needs in the championship, but I got to say, as half of qualifying is now finished, Christian Erlandsson is the man to watch right now as he scores a huge run as first. And right now, from my perspective, we are in for a huge second half of qualifying in a couple of moments' time. I think they now have a baseline set. The benchmark is set. They're going to push a lot harder in the second half of qualifying, which is coming up in just a few moments' time. You can't go anywhere. The excitement here in Hockenheim is just too much to take. So if you're watching in on the live stream, we want to welcome you in from all across the world. We've had a lot of fans from all over the world talk to us about how much they've been enjoying the action has been this year. So as we recalibrate the systems and get everything ready to rock and roll for the second half of qualifying, I want to ask everybody watching at home to do us a favor, because we've been doing you a favor by giving you some great drift action throughout the year. We want you guys to share it out. Let everybody know what's going down in Hockenheim. We've just taken over a Formula 1 circuit, Ian. That's what we did. Yeah. And we're bringing some crazy drift guys from 22 nations to a Formula 1 circuit. This place was beautiful when we started. Painted, all those curbs were just beautifully, you know, white and green.
Not anymore.
Now, they're kind of ruined in black marks. But if you're watching on, we want you to let us know if you're enjoying the action. Also, who are you supporting? What driver are you supporting? What country are you watching in for? Let us know. We want to interact. We want to talk to you guys. We want to see where you're watching. Where's the biggest fan base for the Drift Masters European Championship? Where are you guys from? Who are you supporting? What's your favorite driver? And if you're watching it from an unusual place, let us know. We want to see those comments fly up. We want you guys to hit that share and like button to make sure everybody knows what's about to go down at the bottom of your page. If you're watching online on Facebook, hit the share button, put it onto your Facebook page, let everybody know it's about to go down in Germany this weekend. Of course, this is just the qualifying session. And the scoreboard a little bit mixed up. The guys in 3rd and 4th in the championship, Pavel Brokowski and Connor Shannon, not scoring in the first half of qualifying. That's the big story. And Christian Erlandsson, for me, just pulling out an amazing run on that first run. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I did say that at the beginning of this weekend that people needed to start making moves and you know, putting it all out there and doing whatever they could do to put big scores out, you know, and make a move in the championship. And I think we've seen it this weekend. A lot of guys gel into this fast circuit, really laying it all out there. And yeah, I mean, for me, Christian Erlandsson really shining, you know, like he said, he likes those fast circuits. And he listen, for James Dean to drop down 2nd place in qualifying, he's not going to be happy about that, Dave.
He's not a fan of 2nd place.
No, he's not.
He's a man that cries sometimes when he's in 2nd place. So he's going to be upset. He'll be consoled.
Angry.
He'll be throwing things around the pits. He'll be, you know, toys out the pram. Yeah. And he's saying, well, I'm going to go out there and do first. But I got to mention, he is on a mismatched clutch, which he said is made of spare parts. He's waiting on that new clutch for tomorrow for the battles. So he'll be happy that he now has secured himself a place in the battles tomorrow, I would imagine, with that score. And therefore, well, let's be honest, he's actually done half the work. He's going into the battles tomorrow, stayed in the fight for the championship, and he can take a little breather now and have some fun on the second run. A lot of drivers, though, we got to remember, half of the grid are now outside of that top 32. They have to now improve their score. They've got one chance to do it. They're not going to get another. All that driving and traveling and preparing to get here in Germany, it all comes down to their next run. So second half of qualifying is going to be intense, but also a lot of pressure for those guys who didn't perform in the first half. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what goes down. We are back live here in Hockenheim for round 4 of the Drift Masters European Championship. If you're just tuning in, first half of qualifying is done. Now it's the business time. One run to get the job done. If you don't, you're out of the competition. Half the drivers from 22 nations will be going home at the end of this qualifying session. And Ian, I'm pumped up and ready for it.
Yeah, listen, we see a lot of guys that scored zeros and a lot of guys that bowed out really early in qualifying. So It's time to get those guys some good scores on the board, and we move it to the start line for our first driver. He did score a 66 on his first run. It will be Clemens Cordier as he clips a cone on our start line. We're not worried about that. We send him off in the HGK Eurofighter. V8 under the bonnet, 785 horsepower. Going to need to improve his score. This is a lot more technical as he gets nice and deep into the outer zones. Just wide of that second front clip.
It is pretty bright, the livery on this car. Pretty crazy.
It's out there. It's out there.
Crazy. This thing is just a machine that you got to get up close and personal around. If the Drift Masters Tour is landing in your country in the future, you got to check these machines out. They are simply sensational. But the run, couple of errors on the run. Will it improve his score? It'll be tight.
Yeah, the Austrian driver really needs to improve on a 66. Can he, or has he got enough to just scrape inside top 32? Well, we're about to find out as the judges input the score into the system.
Well, you know, from my perspective, it wasn't a bad run by any means. It's just the standard of driving here this weekend.
High. Oh, and he does improve a 73 there for Clemens. A 73 drops him into 24th position for the moment, Dave. You know what? I think he'll be happy with that. So.
Yeah, look, a man that drums up to the line who hasn't been on his first run, essentially. No. So Andy Wisniewski, the German driver representing Parts 33, and he now has only one run to get it done here.
Yeah, he has a 0 in his first qualifying run. What can he do on his second as he fires the car in? This is a Toyota Sora 2JZ, 680 horsepower under the bonnet. So how does he go, though? I mean, listen, do you put in a tentative run? Do you take it easy and try and be technical and get a high score that way, or do you go all out? So far, it looks like Andy's going technical route, not a lot of smoke, not a lot of impact, but he makes it round.
Just hesitated a little towards the end, and he actually pulled a handbrake halfway through the first corner as well. So another little error the judges will be watching for. Tentative is fine, but it's difficult, as we mentioned throughout the show, at this kind of speed. You've got to commit and put the car where you need it to be. You can't kind of half throttle it out here. So Andy will be nervous waiting for this score to drop in. Is it enough? And of course, not having that first run to lay a sort of a benchmark and take the pressure off. He had to make a choice there: go crazy and get a 0, or try and top the scoreboard, or just kind of hit the mid-pack. I'd imagine it'll be the latter.
Yeah, exactly that. So we await the score to drop in for Andy, and it is a 69.7, so drops him into 30th position at the moment. That means he's going to be hanging on by the skin of his teeth for the moment, Dave.
Absolutely, and we move along to our next driver. Another German on the line is going to be Chris Neijmeyer from Germany. He started drifting in 2013, and he is the Gymkhana Drift Cup champion in 2014. And he has several Nürburgring Drift Cup podiums. So this is a different circuit in Germany this weekend. Hockenheim, and he's coming in hot here, looking good, but a little wavering there, but getting out to that outer zone on clip 3, that's what we wanted to see.
Yeah, but look at this, he goes massively wide on that front zone 2. It's going to hurt his score because sacrifices that outer zone. He's kind of throws it all the way towards the end of the run. An absolutely cool looking car, those green headlights and that green livery on the back as he goes across the line. Yeah, I mean, errors, Dave, is not what you need right now at this stage in competition.
No, especially when the scores are starting to rise and rise throughout the competition.
Yeah.
You can find very good scores, might not be enough to get you through to the battle stages tomorrow. So he'll be another driver nervously anticipating this result, and there you have it. It's a 62, meaning he is out of the competition and finishing in 38th position, not into the top 32, and that's how harsh this system is, Ian. Make those mistakes and you're going home. Unfortunately, a German driver, homegrown talent, not making it through to the top 32.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a cruel mistress, Dave, but that is the nature of our sport. As we see Baz Maul come off the line, the second half of the teammate of Sebastian Fontaine, as he fires at E46. Splendid tyres, BMW. Look at the angle that Baz Maul's carrying nice and deep into that. Look at the transition from Baz Maul. Can he pull it off? Oh, big wobble there as he comes through that second front zone, and he's way offline now. He starts to pull it back together again, but Baz Maul laid it all out there and went for a huge run in his second qualifying run.
Well, he went for the big run, and it didn't quite go his way. He went for the big angle, big smoke, exactly what we wanted to see. But that little error just at the hairpin, had to sort of wobble the front of the car, readjust his steering. That's not going to help his scoring.
No, exactly that. So we await the judges to put their score into the system. And where does he come in? It's 62.7, 73.7, and his first run is the higher qualifying score. He will be in for the moment. But drivers, Dave, that didn't score in their first run do make it through, and this guy impressed me. Up next is Yvon Buisson.
Yeah, and this is a guy that, if you're aware of French drifting, is one of the showmen, one of the stars of that championship. A super fun guy to be around, but now he's got to get it all done here on one run. Was going very well in practice, though.
Yeah, not sure what happened to the car. He washes wide on that front zone. Oh, he drops a wheel. Big impact with the barrier. And, yeah, completely upsets his line. He tries to get going, but has he DB'd a tyre? And he certainly has, Dave.
Yeah, something is not right there. He's trying to struggle through. You can see that.
Yes, DB'd it massive.
That rim, no tyre whatsoever left there. And, wow, what an unfortunate set of circumstances for this driver, as he now not only does not get his first run, but it makes big impact on his second. And, Ian, it is going to be a little too late for the French driver. As look at this, comes off. That's where I think it DBs. Yeah, look, bang. Takes all of the water barriers straight up into the sky, quite spectacularly, I might add. Loses his bumper, but from this point on, he's only got one rear tyre, so there's not much he can do.
No, exactly. He tries to put down the rest of the run, but yeah, I mean, no chance.
Yeah, second in the currently second in the French Drift Championship. Buisson, though, does not score on his second run, I'd imagine, shutting it down before the finish line, meaning a 0-0, and another driver exiting the competition right here on Friday.
Yeah, so we make it official there, a 0 on his first run. The only run he did. We move it along back to the line, and it will be Jason Bennett. We're going to clean the track. Still got our guys out there sweeping up, Dave, like you say, available for hire or for birthday parties.
Incredible sweep across the board from every one of these guys. Yeah, and of course, looking for a clean sweep? No? Right, okay. We're not going to use any bad puns on the broadcast today. I've been warned, and officially warned, in fact. So we are now waiting for another French driver to try and get himself into that top 32.
Yeah, Jason Bernet was, like I say, impressed me earlier in practice. Put some really good runs down. As you can see, our track staff, our crew there, Drift Masters, just rebuilding the circuit after Yvonne decided to rearrange it, Dave. Wasn't happy. Didn't like that.
Absolutely no consideration for the water barriers. Those poor water barriers just standing out there enjoying the show, decimated, just thrown into the sky. No regard for their safety whatsoever. So yeah, they were a different shape this morning. I'll tell you that for a fact. So yeah, as the track now gets prepared, another driver to throw it in. And you know what? The French not making a big impact this weekend. They want to, you know, champion one of their drivers up the scoreboard here. And will it be Banet to do it?
I mean, listen, like I say, very, very impressive in practice earlier on. Can he pull it out of the bag now for qualifying? He sits patiently on the line and waiting to get the all clear, as we just removed the last few bits of debris on the circuit.
He's had 2 podiums in the French Drift Championship, so he's a rising star, just 20 years of age. I really like this car. I mean, I think that 1 Series,
so
the 1M,
clean. Look at
looks just, it's a road car, really, when you think about it. If that was your road car, you would be polishing that every day and washing it. He says, no, I'm going to bring it to Germany and throw it into a corner at over 80 miles an hour. That's what you do when you've got a nice BMW. And of course, bringing BMWs back to their homeland also. Let's see if a BMW can get to the top of qualifying as Banet throws it into that first corner. Nice angle through the first corner. A lot of style in his driving.
Yeah, very, very stylish driver. Likes to carry big angle. Look at this. Very, very good job so far from Banet as he gets that car perfectly, but sacrifices that outer zone as he shortcuts the centre of the circuit once again. Now gets back out into the outer zones and takes it over the finish line. Very nice looking car. And you know what? Good run, but just not good enough in my eyes to get too far up the order.
Yeah, using every bit of that 700 horsepower sequential gearbox. Pretty sure they don't come standard in a BMW 1M.
Definitely not.
A little bit of work done there. Let's see how he's got on. Frenchman looking for a turn of fortune here.
Soap scores dropping for Jason Banet. And an 80.7.
Wow.
How wrong was I?
Yep. You have no idea what you're talking about, Ian. I would say this might be the last broadcast you're ever doing here at the Drift Masters European Championship with assumptions like that, because that was an amazing run from Jason Banet according to the judges. You know what? I saw some errors there too. It goes to show if he had tidied those up, he would have really been challenging. He would have been challenging right for the top. So moving along to our next driver, Gary Galopin. Another guy coming from the French Drift Championship, this Westlake Tire sponsored E30 BMW. Love the look of this car and love his style. Just had a little bit of understeer on the first run. This time throwing it in much harder.
Yeah, look at this, carrying a lot more speed this time, gets the car dialed not as wide out into the outer zone as what we'd liked, but seems to be working it well. He's carrying a lot of speed, very tidy job on that second front clipping point. And a good line now as he fulfills the outer zone. Judge is going to be ruled in this. Maybe he had a boost problem before or power issue, because look at the smoke that car is now producing.
You could be right. It did not look like it had that horsepower in the first run, and it looks like he's tidied it up nicely for the second. As you mentioned, missing one of those outer zones. Is that enough to knock him down? The order could be. What I really like about this track, though, is the flow through the circuit.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys go door to door tomorrow. When it's really on the line, when you've got to get close, it's a risky track to get close on, especially with guys decelerating so much in front of you throughout certain sections of the course. I think we're going to have some really highlight reel moments tomorrow. 72 puts him in the 27th position, and Gary, he'll be happy with that. And a French driver jumping into that top 32 as the French invasion here has mixed results, but one man that will definitely be flying the flag this weekend is the head of the French Drift Championship, or Championnat de France as it's called. Terrible my knowledge of French, but it is Jérôme Vassia. Jérôme, he's coming in hot here. He knows he's missed a couple of outer clips on the first run, and he's really tidying those up now.
Yeah, he's going to really want to pull it all out of the bag now and put in a good run for the French and do the French proud in the championship as he gets those outer zones fully fulfilled. Transitions for the middle of the track. Nice tidy line from Vassia as he makes his way out to outer zone 7 and takes it over the line.
I think tidy was the correct terminology would be the right word. Yeah, thank you, Ian. For that run, as it is a very solid run. I think he's been thinking, you know what, get myself into the 70s, high 70s, a couple of zeros out there on the board. Let's see if we can get ourselves in the mix. And of course, this is not his preferred choice of chassis for this weekend. So if he got into the top 32, he would be absolutely ecstatic with that.
Yeah. So scores a drop in for Jérôme Vassia, and look at this, a 67.7 on his second, but his first run being enough to get him into 30th position in qualifying. He's got a long wait, you know. We've got a few drivers to get through and a few zeros yet to fulfill as we go back to the line to this guy in this quirky little car, Dave.
Quirky is a good word. Also, my favorite is another, because anything that's this crazy, you got to sort of respect. It sounds though like he's very much out of gearing on this car as he comes into that first corner, but once he gets the momentum up, it starts to make some moves. This 2002 1974 BMW, wow, big angle there. He's got way out of shape and he's sort of off that correct line. It's a little bit of wavering here. It's probably not what the judges want to see.
No, fell apart as he come into that second front zone. Looked like he was carrying miles too much speed and started all going all wrong for Philipp Jäger as he makes his way through the finish line.
But cool points.
Cool points, 100 at least.
Million.
100 million.
100 million. Well, yeah, 100 million.
100 million.
I'm stamping it in.
Do you know what? The rarity for me is a BMW 2002 compact. Like, I don't even know where you'd even find one of those. A 61 in his second qualifying run puts him in 40th position. Unfortunately, not enough to see Philipp Jäger in the competition tomorrow. So, unfortunately, the end of seeing that car, Dave.
But what a great thing to see it out there ripping. On the track.
Absolutely ripping.
I loved it. And now to another BMW classic-shaped E30. This time, though, it is driven by Romanian driver Kiritin, and it is sponsored by Monster Energy. And this is a different chassis than we saw him in Riga, so he's adjusting to this E30 BMW just as well.
Yeah, I think this is his normal car. I think the 180 SX we see him in Riga was a borrowed car. And look at the smoke. And they'll dry his tyres at the back end of Kaelin's car as Kaelin Siorten, oh wow, completely overshoots that second zone. Big wobble there as he comes into that outer zone, transitions out through the centre of the circuit as Siorten pedals that car across the line. Impact and style 100%, but just not technically right for what the judges want asking.
No, and I think if you watch that inner clip, so heavily weighed in terms of points scored, you've got to be there. You've got to be within touching distance.
And I think it's because the amount of talent, skill it requires to slow the car down enough to then pick the speed back up again. So that's going to hurt his score. Yeah, a 65 drops Kaelin right in the middle of the pack in 14th position with his first run, and 80.3.
And 80.3 is just 14th position. Wow, scores are really creeping up here.
Up next, Sergei Kremitz. You can see the damage to that door. Not having the best first run. He needs to make it all count now as he comes off the line.
Yeah, the current Ukrainian champion's got to get the job done here, and he's coming in extremely hot, dropping it over the curbs at over 80 miles an hour into that first corner, and absolutely standing on the throttle as he tries to slow it down now to get it, look at that, nice and close, that inner clip, that inner cone is where they're trying to get the front end of the car, then the rear end of the car to these outer water barriers on the edge of the circuit without dropping wheels, and a good job, better job for sure, from Sergei Kremitz on the second run.
Yeah, Kremitz scored a 55 on his first run, so it's definitely going to be an improvement.
And such another really rare, interesting chassis we're seeing, you know, creep out of all the woodwork across the nations of Europe. Some amazing, you'll never see in any other motorsports, such a variety of vehicles and setups. That's what makes it so interesting, how they all have the same challenge with so many different tools. That's incredible. Exactly, so I think this could be right up the order here for Sergei Kramitz. Yeah, 83.7 puts him into 11th position. And the Ukrainian driver, the pride of the Ukraine, doing a great job there.
Yeah, definitely that. Like I say, the pride of Ukraine doing a good job, and good to see Kramitz inside the order. Up next is Kane Pisani. Kane Pisani scored a 0 on his first run, spun on that slightly elevated section through the centre of the track. Now, can he keep his cool and put in a good qualifying run? The Maltese champion of Gymkhana needs to make it work for him now as he pedals his 780 horsepower Toyota Supra.
And check this out as the Supra goes through the... it takes the cone down. And you know what? He's dragging a cone with him right now as he comes through. And you know what? It could just be enough to damage his score here, as he very, very much just made those errors on the inside of the circuit. I think, from my perspective, I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
No, you know what? With a score so high, when you see an 80 in 14th or 15th position, you know it's going to be challenging.
Yeah,
and look at this. What happens, Dave?
He comes in just a little too shy, up over the curb, takes the cone with him, but that cone sort of upsets his steering on the front of the car. As you can see, drives over it, pops out the other end, and yeah, it just got him offline. Just caught him. Tried to go so accurate to that inside clip that it just didn't work for him. But a 55.3, a respectable score. But in this company, seeing him into 45th position. Yeah,
unfortunately, that will be the end of the weekend for Kane Pisani. We move it along. Daniel Janota sits on the line. He has currently got a 0 as well. The Czech driver driving the BMW 1 Series with the M50, 860 horsepower. M50 turbo under the bonnet, fires it in, a nice angle from Janota. Now, can he keep his cool? He needs to put a good score on the board. Very nice line as he comes through the first turn. Janota pedaling the car. This looks a lot tighter from Janota, but he's way wide and he over-rotates.
Yeah, you know what? It just went on the front brakes there, and it just almost tucked the nose in too much.
It just looks like that car is an animal to drive.
It is. I think,
like
watch this. He went on the front brakes here. Watch, he's on the front brakes, and it just sent him on this massive angle. You can see, look how much steering angle's in the car, but he just overcooked it a small bit. And from that perspective, well, it's all she wrote. A rotation there, scores a 0, and that means Daniel Janota, one of the guys that we expect big things from in the future from this championship, a double 0 in 49th position from the Czech Republic. So not the weekend he would have planned for.
No, not at all. As we move it along the order and we move on to the next driver today, it will be Kim Mathiasen. Currently sits with 57.7, so he has work to be done. LS1 powered E46, 500 horsepower under the bonnet. As he comes off the line, Kim Mathiasen fires his car in. Now, what has he got? Nice and tidy on that front clip. He needs to push wide. He doesn't. He transitions on that outer zone. It's going to hurt his score massively as he stands on the accelerator. Very tidy job. Hop in the curb, though, and it makes a big steering correction. Mathiasen now pedals the car into the final 2 outer zones and over the line. And
not a bad run in, not a bad run, but just some errors.
I don't think there's enough, though, Dave. He missed the outer zone, transitioned in the wrong part of the track, hopped the curb.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is an incredible achievement to be able to even drift this circuit. We all know that. I mean, the regular guy can't do this kind of stuff. I mean, they think they can. I mean, we think we can.
I could,
but
definitely.
You could?
Yeah.
So
easy.
Obviously, like, they're liars.
Better
like you.
than James Dean,
Yeah, well, you know, it's great when you don't have to prove that.
Exactly right.
But what I'm saying is...
no one's crazy enough to give me a car.
Well, that's for other reasons. But it is more important to remember that it's very difficult to get good scores here, and it's a very difficult track. There you go, 67.7. That's a good score.
Yeah.
A really good score, but not enough for the Danish driver to jump into the top 32. So Kim Mathiasen does not qualify here. At round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship, live from Hockenheim in Germany. Now, this guy, he could upset the apple cart here, because he is one of those guys with low horsepower. People just kind of shrugged at him and said, well, what's this guy doing here from Georgia in his 240 horsepower car? But watch the way he drives it.
Yeah, currently sitting with a 55 at the moment, and a very, very good technical driver, and it was a good score on his first run, but he really needs to do everything he can now if he's going to try and climb inside top 32.
I like the run-in.
I do. Technically, it's very, very good. Just lacks a little bit of impact. We know he's the lowest horsepower car on the grid, so we forgive him for the lack of smoke and speed, but does Mevlud's technical driving style give him enough points to get inside of top 32 and get in the game tomorrow, Dave, as the score drops in?
Yeah, well, he's a 3-time Georgian champion. He's got the credentials to do it, but he's just trying to announce Georgian drifting onto the European stage. It's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and I think he's going to handle that pressure and put a score on the board here. Look at this.
Wow, look at this.
78.3, 16th position with 240 horsepower. You don't even need the horsepower if you've got the talent of this Georgian superstar.
Unbelievable stuff. We keep the action moving here at round 5. We move it on to AXEL MACK. This guy has suffered terminal engine failure. He rebuilt his engine just for this round to make it back for his home team. What can he do as AXEL MACK scored a 64 in his first qualifying run? He needs to put it all out of the bag now. Very fast is AXEL MACK at a very good line. Big angle now as he transitions out of zone, clips the barriers, keeps it on circuit though, not as close to that front zone as what we'd like to see.
Yeah, just backed out Lily, and obviously big impact of those water barriers, not where you want to be. Those water barriers are not like a wall run, they're actually a little bit off the circuit as more of an indicator. And as you can see here, as he goes way too wide, actually the white line is the edge of the circuit, so he's over the curbs, way off over here. And he just...
So is that 4 wheels off, potentially 3 wheels off track?
I'm going to have to see what the judges say.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the curbs are okay, but it is a little bit further than the curbs, and I think when you're hitting those water barriers, you're a good bit off the circuit there. Yeah, you're way off the line, so he's going to be punished for that. And our poor track team repairing more broken water barriers on the track. So a 0, yep, confirmed. Meaning that Axel Max will not score on his second run, leaving the German driver in 41st position and another driver, hugely talented driver, an impressive driver, not in the top 32. Such a harsh system here at Drift Masters European Championship.
Yeah, but that's the game that we like to play, Dave, and we move it along to this guy. JIMMI HANSEN scored a 66 on his first qualifying run. JIMMI HANSEN now needing to make it work as he fires this car in. M3 turbo under the bonnet, 865 horsepower, gets nice and personal with that front clip and nice and deep into the outer zone as he transitions back now. JIMMI HANSEN stands on accelerator, very nice line. He's really kind of cut across the circuit. Can he make it work? He certainly can. Oh, he's so wide. He drops the wheel into the dirt. JIMMI HANSEN laying it all on the line right now for a good spot inside top 32 as he pedals that car over the line. Very nice stuff from JIMMI HANSEN.
Well, there's no denying he went for it because he went for a crazy run. Caught a little bit of understeer through the first corner, but actually managed to correct it and get it back on track. Impressive car control. Just, is it enough? That's the question.
Yeah, that is the question, you know, and with scores being so high, you know, I think you really need to be in the 80s now to do well. Judges deliberating this one.
It's so harsh because you know how difficult this track is. We've been around it. It's so big, it's so vast, so intimidating. But if you aren't exceptional at this level, at car control in a very difficult, probably the most difficult motorsport in terms of it's so unorthodox, you now have to be not only talented, have the ability, have the machinery, now you've got to be one of the best in the world. And that is why someone with a score of 67.3 can end up in 36th position and outside the main event standings.
67.
67 is not enough for top 32. And JIMMI HANSEN put in a great run there. That is just, it's almost just it's criminal. Overwhelming really right now. So here we go. Another driver off the line is Kasper Christensen. Another driver looking to improve.
Yeah, Kasper Christensen sits with a 59, so he has definitely got work to done right now as Christensen fires it. Big angle, stands on accelerator, and a very nice line through that outer zone. Christensen starts to slow it down, doesn't get as deep into the other outer zone, pops a wheel on the curb, and starts to make himself back online, but it's a little bit scrappy now, Dave. It starts to fall apart as Christensen gets back into the final outer zones and takes it over the finish line.
Yeah, it was mentioned in driver briefing that they didn't want to see drivers run a wheel on the inside curb of that hairpin. They just didn't want to see it. He was way up over that curb and almost over the blue and white line into that red line. So I think that's going to hurt his score also there. But it's so difficult. It's just, I mean, I'm watching it here sort of getting a sense of how good do you need to be at the top level of this championship. And right now, it's showing that the scores coming in, you've just got to be pinpoint accurate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you need to be pinpoint perfect. You can't put a wheel over, you can't drop a wheel on the curbs. You've got to be absolutely spot on, and it's not an easy task, especially when you're pushing your car to its absolute limits. Where does Kasper Christensen drop in? And a 67.3 is not enough to get himself inside top 32. Another guy bowing out competition.
Yeah, making big improvements on the second run and still not making an improvement that will get him into the main event tomorrow.
Now, Dennis Hansen does sit with a 72.7, so he does find himself inside the top 32 as he fires that car in. A nice angle as he comes through that front clip, very deep into that outer zone now. Can Dennis HANSEN hold it together and put in a good run? He doesn't. It starts to fall apart, Dave. Guys just can't control the car enough into that front clip to put down a perfect qualifying run, as HANSEN fires it to the outer zones and over the line.
He has one of the craziest styles when it comes to transition I've ever seen. It's almost just
flick on angle.
Just a big flick, and let's see what happens every time he transitions. Super entertaining to watch, but it takes a little bit of that fluidity out of what the judges are looking for. So let's see where he lands. It could be another similar story.
Yeah, so the scores are dropping in. Judges talking about their scores.
And look at the setting, though. You guys can see it at home right now.
Sun's just
the sun's starting to go down. The golden hour. We're in the Mercedes-Benz Tribune stand watching drifting on a Formula One circuit. Just take that in.
Look, just take it in.
Take it in. A couple of years ago, people would have never thought that would happen. But right now, these guys have proved their worth across of Europe, and here they are. It's a 71.3, so 28th position for Dennis HANSEN. He stays where he is. It's not a bad score at all. He's in the 70s, but it's close to the drop zone. 4 people could knock him out. Two and the top 4 in the championship have not put a run in yet, so nervous times.
Exactly. As we move it along, Rene Ports, he currently sits with a 55, so he is outside of competition at the moment. You can see Jerome Vassia sitting in 32nd place on that drop zone as Ports fires it in now. Ports stands on the accelerator with the 1.5 JZ under the bonnet of this IS200. 750 horsepower to tame. Can he keep it together? Nice job on that front clip from Rene Ports as they transition back now through the centre of the circuit. Ports stands on the accelerator and looks for the 2 final outer zones and does a very nice job, does Rene Ports.
I think that's an improvement, Ian. I think that's a very, very good score.
Yeah, I think it is a very good improvement on his first run.
And you know what? He needed it. I mean, especially when you're on home soil and you're trying to represent your home audience, and you're out there and you've got a lot of your friends and family here. You want to go out there and show exactly what you're worth, and the pressure's high, and the competition level is high. But you need a score that's just going to get you into that main event. And has he done enough? Well, he has. Into 20th position, he goes with a 75. He will take that right now with the pressure on his shoulders.
Yeah, he certainly will. And we move it along to a guy with a 74. So he's already inside the top 32. But can he improve on his score and make his life a little bit easier as he travels through top 32? It is Daniel SAEVIK, the Norwegian plumber, which you don't often come up with, don't often meet a Norwegian plumber. But he fires his car in, does Daniel SAEVIK. Little dab of the handbrake halfway through that turn. A nice job on that front clip, not as deep into the outer zone as what we'd like to see. As SAEVIK slows the car down massively, you can hear him working the throttle, doesn't pop the curb. Does a very tidy job on that front clip and that outer zone as he comes through the centre of the circuit. Transitions into the final 2 outer zones, and a very good job there from Daniel SAEVIK.
Yeah, a lot of these guys now starting to up their level, Ian. They'll have been told by their mechanics and spotters, look, the cutoff is X, you need to be Y, and that's why they're starting to push that a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly that. So we await to see if Daniel SAEVIK has improved on his first score. Can he climb up the order? As the judges just put their scores into our system. Having a little deliberation on that one. So, look at that. Daniel SAEVIK jumps into 16th position with a 78.3.
That's a big jump up, Ian.
A very big jump up there for Daniel SAEVIK as he moves up the order. Now, on the line, Ken Egved scored a 0 in his first qualifying run. His mechanics just run up and said to me, check your phone. They changed the gearbox in this car for the second qualifying run to get him back out there. As Ken Egved now puts it all on the line. Can he put down a qualifying run worthy enough for a place in top 32? As he stands on the accelerator now. Ken Egved slows the car down, but he's way wide. That's not a good move from Egved. He needs to pull this together now to get at least a 72 and find himself inside top 32. Stands on the accelerator for one more time and finds the 2 final outer zones. If anything, a big thank you to his team for repairing that car.
You said they put a gearbox in this car?
Yeah, they changed the gearbox in that car, yeah.
Between the first run and the second run?
Between the first run and the second run, yeah.
I sent my car in for like a regular service and it takes them a day.
Yep.
Well, I'm being robbed. Gearbox in half an hour? Incredible. Will it be enough, though? A couple of errors. Pushing wide in certain areas. A brave attempt, don't get me wrong, from his team and him to get himself into that main event tomorrow, but is it enough? That's the question.
This is the thing. Is it enough to find himself inside our top 32 as we await the score to drop in for Ken Egved?
I'm not so sure, Ian. I mean, there was some. I mean, if you're watching on right now, you're starting to see those perfect runs go in, and yeah, it's just enough. You know what? He deserved that for putting the gearbox in, for getting back out there bravely. 71 on the board, 32nd position. Ken Egtved has just crept fingertips into the top 32. Will he stay there? Well, there's one man that can't knock him out, is Christian Erlandson, who actually is having a look at the top of the leaderboard saying, by the way, Vasiliauskas, I'm coming for that first place.
Coming for that, yeah. So Erlandson currently sits in second place right now alongside Jason. Oh, and Erlandson almost backwards through that first inner clip. That was phenomenal from Christian Erlandson as he fires it now into that front zone, just hops the curb. Judge is going to be looking at that, and he stands back on the accelerator, cuts out at the outer zone, gets back into it, but a phenomenal run from Christian Erlandson as he puts it all on the line and just drops a wheel. Unbelievable stuff from Christian Erlandson.
He has just gelled with this track, Ian. Like, it's incredible.
The angle he pulled through that first front clip was something else.
I mean, how do you chase that? That angle, that smoke?
The speed he
it's
came
incredible.
in there.
He is going to be a very tough competitor to come up against tomorrow. I would not count him out of the podium positions.
I mean, if this is in the high 80s, it certainly is. An 86.3 stays Christian Erlandson in second place after his second qualifying run. But what a statement from Christian Erlandson as we move it along.
Incredible stuff as we move on to Dariusz Fabisiak.
Yep, currently sitting inside top 32 with a 74.3. The cut-off now 71. So the cut-off for our top 32 currently 71. Max Heidrich sits in the drop zone as Fabisiak fires his car in now. Little wishy-washy as he comes through that first clip. You can see him, lots of steering corrections. Not looking the tidiest is Dariusz Fabisiak right now, the Polish driver.
He gets back on it though and starts to tidy it up around that hairpin. He's got to get those points clawed back through these last couple of zones, and this is where he's a little bit more accurate. Nice finish to the run from Fabisiak there. Yeah,
he finished it off very, very well, but coming through that first turn and that first inner clip, it was very, very wavy, a lot of steering corrections. So Judge is going to be looking at that. It's right in front of where they're sitting. So where does Dariusz Fabisiak sit? Or is his first score the better score? Judge's score drops in. Yeah, look at that. Fabisiak stays where he is in 24th position, 73.3 on his second run. Not enough to improve, but he's inside.
Two very consistent runs,
Yeah, yeah. Someone that's going to be a good contender tomorrow. We move it along.
Yeah,
now, this man.
Ahmed Han on the line, and the pride of the Middle East. He's a four-time Middle East champion, and he's got to get the job done here. Poor enough run by his standards on the first run.
64 in his first run, Dave. He needs to make this count. Oh, and understeer again on the first turn now. Can De Ham make it all happen? Understeer again. De Ham's car not reacting the way he wants it to drive as he fires it in to that front clip. Oh, and a big error from De Ham. And that is it.
I think that might be all she wrote for the four-time Middle East champion representing Red Bull. That jump, 2 wheels off the ground, lost all steering control, and when he landed back down on the ground, it just shot him to the left. He'll be disappointed with that.
He'll be absolutely gutted with that, and I know he was looking on form earlier in practice as De Ham. Look at this, carries huge speed. It transitioned too early, it put him on the wrong line. Look at the angle.
Watch the air time here, Ian, as he jumps up, and as it comes down, the car hops and then fires him the way the wheels are directing, so he's lost complete control.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we need to make it official. Is it a 0 for De Ham's second run? And there we go. It will be a 0. He is outside top 32. Means it is the end of the weekend there for Ahmed De Ham.
Yeah, qualified in the top 5 at round 4, and now round 5 doesn't qualify at all, showing just how unpredictable things can be here.
Exactly. We move it along to Jim Olofsson. Jim Olofsson currently outside the top 32 with a 61 in his first qualifying run. It's a miracle that this car is even here, though, realistically. In all rights, ripped the whole right side off of the car in Turin. He rolled it in Latvia, put it back together again. He's still alive. How? I don't know. He's defied all physics. All physics, just down to his Simpson safety equipment.
I think this car may be 5 BMW E30s now.
No, 10. At least 10.
Just put back together. Looks like one car.
If you follow him on social media, his friend is there constantly just welding bits on it.
I think he's a full-time welder just to put this car back. But that is not because of a lack of talent.
It's just because he goes so hard.
He is just ridiculous. Like
he doesn't know 50%, Dave. He's either off or 100.
He rolled the car twice onto its roof and then said,
we're going back out.
We're going to go back out and fix it. I was like, I would have been at home, in the,
1
I would have been in
minute
the,
as well.
I would have been in the
1 minute.
hotel having a drink, saying, forget
A
about
stiff drink of that.
forget that. Yeah. So, you know, he's now going to throw it back into the first corner, and again, going in as hot as ever is Jim Olofsson.
Yeah, Jim Olofsson now needs to make it all happen. He knows he's outside top 32 as Heidrich sits in the drop zone. What has Jim Olofsson got? Very good run. Hops a wheel, though. That's going to hurt his score. Nice into the outer zone. Good transition back. This is a much better run than his first run. But Jim Olofsson finds the 2 final outer zones and pedals his car across the line. Jim Olofsson doing everything he could in that little BMW E30.
Incredible stuff from Jim Olofsson, and you know what? I think he's due a bit of luck. He's due a little bit of luck this year. I think he's going to get it at some point. He's going to get a great result at some point for all the hardship that those guys have been through with repairing their car so frequently over the last 2 or 3 rounds. And I just love the fact that he smiles every time he gets out and says, "We'll fix it. We'll go back out. We do exactly the same thing."
Yeah, he's a happy guy. He's always smiling, like you say, and never put down. Look at that, 75.3 for Jim Olofsson, puts him into 21st position.
He's going to become one of the biggest fan favourites in European drifting just because he's that crazy.
So on the line is Maciej Jarkovic, currently sits with a 22-point score. He is way outside top 32. He needs to pull it all out of the bag now. Does the Polish driver as he fires that Toyota Supra in. Little dab of the handbrake, nice line as he comes through that front zone, but completely shallows out of both the rear zones. Massive slowdown. He shortcuts the circuit for the second front zone. This is looking scrappy for Jarkovic. He needs to pull it together if he's going to try and get any points on the board as he comes through the final 2 outer zones.
Yeah, I think those errors are not going to go unpunished in the center section. He almost drove through the hairpin there. I think the judges are really going to look at that and say, you know, as a standard that's been set by some of the other drivers, can he meet that standard? It's going to be a lower score. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough, Ian. And a really talented driver, not showing consistent form this weekend, which just might be just a blip in the season for him. He's looked good at other rounds. It's just so hard to be consistent over 6 varying tracks, varying venues, and of course varying I suppose temperatures and conditions at every time. So
yeah, exactly that. And you know what, I was just going to mention that it has actually got cold, and look at that, 58.7 is not enough to get Maciej Jarkovic inside top 32. He bows out competition in 48th. Yeah, it's got very cold in the last, say, 10 minutes. The air temperatures drop, track conditions will be changing,
which will make it a lot less
grippier.
Yeah, there'll be a lot less grip on the track there that they'll expect from the first runs today, so that could catch out some drivers, including Mikael Overgaard.
Yeah, Mikael Overgaard comes off the line as he fires that car in. Overgaard outside of top 32 of a 64. He needs to make it work now. Looking good though, good transition off of that outer zone. Can he make it nice through that front zone? Very good transition, very good stuff from Overgaard. His sacrifices that outer zone though. Can he do enough to find himself a spot inside top 32? Nice run from Mikael Overgaard, arm out the window. He's over the moon with that one.
And I would be too. A
yeah,
great run.
A very good run.
The anti-lag in that car.
Getting some cheers as well.
Yeah, the anti-lag in that car echoing around the Mercedes-Benz tribune here is just sort of a little goosebumps moment there.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting that preview of what tomorrow is going to be like.
Tomorrow is going to be a spectacle.
Tomorrow, the main event, people packed out, screaming this place down. It's going to be insane. But let's see what Mikael Overgaard scores on his second run. Hits a 79, enough to put him into 16th position. Big round of applause from all the Danish fans in attendance here. Big fan favourite, Mikael Overgaard. And you know what? They're loving that run.
A very, very good run there from Mikael Overgaard. On the line, Steve Bagsy Biagioni representing the UK, Monster Energy, Westlake Tyres, a whole host of sponsors, Dave. I could be here all day reeling off these brands. ST suspension car, though, comes off the line, 65.7 in his first qualifying run. What can he do? He needs to make it count right now. As Bagsy, little dab of the handbrake as he comes into that front zone. Gets a nice line out to the outer zones. Oh, and it sounds like the car's got a misfire. It sounds like it's dying with power as Bagsy fires it into the outer zones. He's doing everything he can to try and pedal that car through the final 2 outer zones as Bagsy gets back into it and takes it over the line.
Yeah, it did sound like the car just had a little bit of a restriction on it from the power we're used to seeing.
Sounded like a misfire to me. It didn't sound healthy. Didn't sound like
but
it wanted to play
a brave run from Steve Bagsy Biagioni to put that together and get himself a score on the board. Is it enough? Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, he needs a 72 or more. A 71 or more, sorry, to climb inside top 32. Currently sits with a 65.7. Can he do it? Can he jump inside the top 32? He's not had a good year so far, this guy, having no end of car problems. Score drops in Where does Bagsy end up? A 78. He drops him into 20th position and safe inside top 32 for the moment.
Yeah, he'll take that with the mechanical issues he suffered this year with building a new car, with trying to test that and get it working. He's taken on a huge amount of responsibility, and that pressure a little bit relieved as he jumps into the top 32. Next up, Max Heidrich on the line.
Yeah, Max Heidrich currently sits out of the top 32 with a 71, so scores bumping him up, pushed him out. Dennis Hansen now sits on the drop zone. Heidrich, the local guy, Dave, he needs to put it all out there.
He does, and I mean, this is a track where we expect the Germans to succeed, and right now they need to start upping those scores, and Heidrich throwing it in very hot into that first corner. Big weight transfer there. Look at this going right out to the edge of the circuit. We expect to be see Max right up the top, but he's had a little bit of a blip with engine troubles throughout the last couple of events, but a couple of engines in this car. It hasn't been an easy road, and right now he's trying to make everything come together for one solid score to get him into the main event tomorrow, and that's where he really comes alive.
I like that. I like that run. That was a very, very nice run from Max Heidrich. Very fast and fluid, and if I'm not mistaken, won an event recently. Did Max Heidrich?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that when it all goes right and the car goes right,
he's on it.
He's a contender for any trophy at any event. Just hasn't been his couple of events here in the Drift Masters European Championship. Hoping for better fortunes on home soil.
Scores drop in for Max Heidrich, and look at that, an 80.3 puts him into 15th position, and you know what, he'll take that, Dave.
He will be very happy with that. I mean, he's had a couple of late nights getting that car ready, and right now we go back to the start line. Matt Carter psyching himself up on the start line representing Jap Speed. Max's Tire is the current British Drift champion. Can he get himself a bigger score here?
Yeah, well, he currently sits with a 78, so he's well inside the top 32, but he's going to be looking to improve on it. Carter now feeling confident. Look at the angle that Carter sticks to it as he pedals this Jap Speed. Max's Tyres R32 through, nice and deep in the outzone, but he's going to push him wide. Manages to just bring it in close enough to get inside the scoring zone. Stands on the accelerator as Carter fires his R32 Skyline from the UK across the finish line, and he'll be over the moon that he's managed to put 2 consistent qualifying runs in.
Absolutely, and the car's so aggressive when it transitions and comes on and off power, popping and banging, and it's all the good noises we want to hear.
Stuff.
But an impressive second run from Matt Carter. Enough to trouble his first run? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, for me, impact and style way up there, but the judges think the same thing. Made a bit of an error. They're deliberating about it. It looks like they're getting a bit angry, heated, they're tired.
Well, it's not even that. It's a case of, you know, it's also opinion. It's subjective.
Yeah,
That's the fun part of drifting. We're subjective, Ian.
We are, very much.
I'm subjective. You're usually wrong.
I'm always wrong.
But I'm subjective.
You're subjective.
So if I'm wrong, I can be. It's subjective.
Yep.
So no one can prove me wrong. Essentially, is how I work it. But subjective is the nature.
I like being proved right. It's just how I am. I like to be wrong, and judges prove me right.
So the judges having a good discussion. That's because they have 3 different opinions.
Exactly.
And Kevin, Kieran, and David having a good conversation on this one. And a 79 is put down. 17th position for Matt Carter on the board, and he'll be happy with that to be sort of mid-pack in that top 32.
2 consistent scores.
Yes.
We know those guys are dangerous as well. We move it along. Tobias Pushan, a 71.3, so we know that he will be outside of top 32. He needs to put it all out there at the moment. He almost takes out all the cones on our start line. Chicane there. Pushan 4.4 BMW V8 under the bonnet of this E30 with a big turbo bolted on the side.
Sort of washed to the edge of the circuit there, but it worked out really well for him to get to that outer zone.
Yeah, it was like
Pushan. It sounded to me like there was an issue with the car there.
Yeah, look at this. You can see him shortcut from that front zone and not looking like he's working 100% as he stands on the accelerator. He does produce some tyre smoke.
You know what? For me, that's a massive error. He's shortcut the track. He's out completely ignored an outer zone.
Well, he basically did a rolling burnout and then dived from one side of the track to the other. So not a good move there from Tobias Pushan. But can he do enough? Is it enough? You know, was that error too much to claw a place inside top 32? We await the judges' scores to drop in. They're deliberating again.
I think it's
fine
well, either way, I don't think it's going to be a high score.
No.
So Pushan, not really. You know, is that score of 71.3?
That was his first score.
Is that enough? You think, Ian?
No.
You're 100%.
I think he's outside top 32 at the moment, if I'm correct. Yeah.
He is in 35th position, so that's the end of the weekend.
43 for his second qualifying run, Dave.
Yeah, and you know what? We expected Fushan to be right there in the mix challenging, and here we are, you know, a couple of events on, and it's Germany that becomes the bogey round for him.
Exactly that. We look at this guy, though, Kajetan Ruttner. He's way up the order in 83. He finds himself just outside of the top 10 as he fires in his Mercedes-Benz. Look at that. Absolutely perfect stuff as Kajetan Ruttner gets his car back on a good line, slows it down. Very nice around that front clip. Good transition to the outer zone. Transitions through the centre of the circuit. This is a good job for Kajetan Ruttner. And he takes it over the line.
That's a very good run, Ian.
Very good.
Technically, I don't think there was much wrong with that. I mean, the judges are going to weigh it up now in speed, fluidity, and style. But for me, in that big car, to throw it around that track with that precision, I think that could even be better than his first run.
Yeah, I think it could personally as well, because coming through that second front clip, that was a good line. Can he top qualifying? No, he can't, but an 87.3 puts him inside the top 10, and Kajetan Ruttner loves this track, and he's back and he's dead. Listen, took down James Dean this year. Can I get inside the top 4 on the podium?
Yeah, 7th position, very, very respectable finish for him if it stays as it is in qualifying. As we await our next driver to come off the line, Michael Reichardt, and he had the craziest first run we saw of the entire competition.
Yeah, he's currently with a 75, so he's inside top 32, but just by the skin of his teeth at the moment. He's going to be looking to improve his score and get himself way up the order. And yeah, I mean, listen, it was an all-out there run in my eyes.
I don't think he knows anything else, Ian. I think that's his style. He just goes in, he's going to do the big weight transfer again.
Does it again, yeah.
Throwing it in really, really fast.
Yeah, look at this big smoke already from Michael Reichardt. Big angle, nice and deep into the outer zone. Starts to slow the car down now. Can he get it nice and tidy through that front clip? Absolutely perfect from Michael Reichardt. This is very good, Dave, as Reichardt fires it through the centre of the circuit, looks for the 2 outer zones, and absolutely nails the line as Michael Reichardt takes it across the line from the Czech Republic.
He is one to watch this weekend. Crazy
We haven't
run.
seen him drive like that all year.
No, but I think now is the time. Now is the time to just step up, show what you're all about, put big scores on the board, make everybody tonight walking around the paddock start talking about you and saying, this guy's trouble, this guy's a problem. And I think that's what they're going to be saying about Michael Reichardt. The guy is just intense.
So where does he drop in? With an 85, Michael Reichardt jumps way up the order into 11th position, and some local fans giving him a cheer there as Reichardt starts to prove himself in our Drift Masters European Championship.
Next up, Benediktas Čirba on the line.
Yeah, currently sits with an 86.7. Čirba looking good in practice and looked good in his first qualifying run. Čirba 8th so far in qualifying, inside top 10, fires the car in. And this HGK E46 BMW looks absolutely perfect as he fires it through very fast, locking up the front wheel. Čirba, perfect line through that second front clip, now out nice and deep into that outer zone, through the middle of the circuit, into the final 2 outer zones, and a fast, smoky, impactful run there from Benediktas Čirba.
He's just getting better and better as it goes along.
Every round, he just improves as a driver. And
you know what? Give him another year.
Next year.
I think you could be talking about him worldwide. I think
sure.
He's got that kind of talent.
Yeah, he has got that talent, and he is a very good driver. Can he improve on his first run of an 86.7? Can he top it? Well, can he climb higher inside top 10? He certainly can. Look at this, an 88.3 for Benediktas Čirba as he climbs into 6th place. And things are starting to heat up, Dave. Up on the line, though, one guy with a 0. Right now, Enver Haskasap sits on the line with a 0 after his first qualifying run. He has it all to play for. Right now, he comes off the line, the North Cypriot driver.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Long way from Malta to Germany. Cyprus, my mistake, to get here, and obviously expecting big things, but just looks like that car isn't working 100%, or the gearing is not right, Ian. It doesn't look like the comfortable Enver Haskasap we're used to seeing. No, it doesn't look like what we've seen all year, but he does start to put down a run. Could it be enough? He needs over a 72 to get inside top 32. It's going to get pretty knife edge now. It's going to be close now for Haskasap. If he, you know what, if he gets inside, he's going to have the team working on that car all night to make sure it's 100% for tomorrow for battles. Can Haskasap get inside the top 32? As the score drops in from our judges. Yeah, from my perspective, Ian, it wasn't the perfect run. No. By any means, there was a lot of errors. It looked like he was fighting with the car. That's what it looked like from my perspective. And he could be lucky here. He might just creep in. Yeah. So the score for Enver Haskasap
gets inputted into our system, and it drops in. Where does he land? Look at that, 75 for Enver Haskasap. He's inside top 32 just about for the moment. He is going to have some work to do tonight. We move it along to the guy currently sitting first in qualifying here at round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship. Is Andreas Vasiliauskas, a 90.7. Hasn't been phased yet by anyone else. He clicks it into gear and he's off the start line. The turbo systems, E92 BMW.
Big entry.
Look at this. And he hops the wheel again. Tyre smoke off the front wheel as it touches back down again. Very deep into the outer zone, and a deep into the outer zone again as Vasiliauskas still on the throttle as he comes through that second front clip. This is phenomenal from Andreas Vasiliauskas as he looks for the 2 final outer zones. He absolutely smokes out the circuit and brings it across the line. Andreas Vasiliauskas puts on a smoke show.
You know what? The most entertaining run of the event so far for me. Full throttle everywhere. He does make errors, though. I don't think it's going to top his first score. But for impact, there is nobody better on that grid today.
No, that was an unbelievable good run. You know, like you say, full throttle all the way through. Yeah, a couple of little errors, but that was splitting hairs. Does it top his first qualifying run? It doesn't, an 87 for his second run, but Vasiliauskas stays in first place in qualifying for the moment. So, just believe we do have our man on the ground, Eddie Power. Eddie Power is down in the pits. Eddie, what you got for us?
Thanks, guys. A lot of drivers here reporting how difficult this track is and just how much pressure it's putting on their components, in particular the clutch. And right behind me, you can see third place in the championship, Paweł Barkowski, his team working to try and get a clutch back into this car in time for his second run of qualifying. It's going to be a nervous wait for the Polish driver to see if he can get back on track and get himself in the game here. Who knows? He's only going to have one run to get it done and to try and keep his championship hopes alive.
Yeah, big pressure indeed for Paweł Barkowski. Missed his first run. He's not even confident about the second. We'll keep you updated as Sebastian Fonten now heads to the line. The Dutch driver looking for a turn of fortune here.
Yeah, sits with an 86 on his first qualifying run. He's in the order, and Fonten fires that E36 to JZ BMW and locks the front wheel up. Nice line through that first clip. Transitions in out of that outer zone. And Fonten starts to slow the car down. Very tidy line as he comes through that second front clip now. And look at the depth he gets into the outer zone as Fonten knows he's done enough to get inside top 10. But can he top qualifying as he puts it all on the line? And Fonten puts on a smoke show at a 360. He's a happy man, Dave.
He is ecstatic with that finish. And the thing about Sebastian Fonten is he's been waiting all year to find the form that he truly knows he has.
Yeah.
And right now, I think he's found it.
Yeah, listen, that was a very good run, and I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks the 90s with that run. Could I be expecting too much from the Dutch driver?
It's going to be good. Whether it's good enough to, 88.3. It's an improvement on his first run. 7th position for Sebastian Fonten. And the Dutch are coming for it this weekend in Germany.
They certainly are, as we keep it going, though. And an Irishman right now sits on the line. A little wave from last year's round 5 winner.
Yeah, Nigel Colfer sits on the line representing Acorn Insurance ST suspension. A little bit of understeer on his first run. Got to tidy up a couple of errors. Going for that big top spot in qualifying. Yeah. And a clutch kick entry, no handbrake there.
Yeah, big initiation there from Colfer. Gets nice and deep into the outer zones. You can hear him absolutely flat out on the throttle. Little left foot brake as he comes into that front zone. Tidy job from the Acorn Insurance driver. Gets it through, representing SB Motorsport. Nigel Colfer pedals this car through the centre of the circuit, looks for the out zones and absolutely blinds the zones with smoke as Nigel Colfer puts down yet again a very good run.
You know what? That's going to be an improvement on his first. I think he's tidied up a lot of the errors that we spotted on the first pass of the circuit. A very confident driver, as you mentioned. He won this event in Drift Masters last year at this circuit. That's confidence building for him. But it's enough to challenge the guys at the top.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 76 on his first run. Look at that, an 84 on his second. Statement there from Nigel Colfer puts him into 12th place in qualifying. And a very, very good run there from the Irishman as we keep it going to a local guy. Joe Hutunji doesn't make it to the line.
Oh, so it's
sorry, getting too carried away there. Missed out Yanis Inglite. So Yanis Inglite, the Latvian, up next.
Just eliminating Yanis from the competition area.
Just eliminating the Latvians. He doesn't need to improve. He's got an 84. What does he need to?
Because he wants to go and impress the fans. That's what he's doing.
Because it's Yanis Inglite.
As Yanis Inglite says, 84, watch this.
Watch this. Hold my beer. As Yanis Inglite fires it in. An absolutely perfect line through that first clip, nice and deep into the outer zone as Inglite now starts to make his way into the slower section of the circuit. A little wide on that second front clip, but making it work is Yanis Inglite as he finds the last outer zones and takes it across the line. LS1 twin turbo powered E46 BMW.
Incredible, and you know what, he might even have improved there on his first run. It's definitely a high score again. That's the thing, a guy who's doing 2 runs like that, super consistent. Tomorrow, remember, this is just a formality, this is just qualifying. Tomorrow these guys go door to door, head to head, wheel to wheel at these speeds, and Inglite is looking strong.
Yeah, 79.3 for me, Dave. It was the front clip. I just think he messed up the front clip, and judges saw that as a huge error. He was a lot tidier on his first run. We now move it along to our Red Bull Drift Brother clan. Joe Hutunji sits on the line in this crazy concoction of a Nissan 200SX Galant front end pickup Nissan 200SX. Fires it in, LSX 454 under the bonnet. V8. As Hutunji now starts to find the outer zones, full throttle through that front clip. Very, very nice driving through Hutunji as he gets into the outer zones. I can hear the judges next to me getting very excited about this run from Joe Hutunji. Stands on the accelerator, takes it over the line, and the Red Bull Drift Brother doing a very, very tidy job.
You know what?
There.
He was on for top spot until that error in the midsection. He hesitated. Something just happened in the car. You could hear it rev out a little bit. Whatever that was, whatever happened there, that's what cost him a top qualifying run there.
And exactly, an 88.3 on his first qualifying run. Where does Hutunji sit? And judges talking about this one. A couple of judges impressed, one of them not so impressed.
Yeah, they've been being, sticking to their guns, sticking to their criteria, sticking to what they said in those driver briefings all day, Ian. And from where I'm sitting, Hutunji was on for something special there. And you know why I know that? They groaned when he made the mistake, which meant they were excited by it up until that point.
Exactly. So scores coming through, and a 69.3, Dave. Look at that. You was absolutely right.
Well, no surprise there. Ian, to be fair now, I could hear the judges sort of discussing that one. I rarely do, but that time I could hear the sigh of disappointment. So I think they were expecting a big score. Next up, Ivo Cerulis.
Now on the line, scored a 0 on his first qualifying run. All to play for right now. He looked good in practice, but can he make it all happen right now? Cerulis, 1 run left to get himself inside top 32. He's come a long way from home as he navigates his E46 BMW round that front clip. This is looking tidy from Cerulis. Stands on the accelerator through the centre part of the circuit, gets into the final 2 outer zones, takes it over the line. Do you know what? I think that's enough to get inside top 32.
Yeah, but the standard in top 32 now, Ian, is so high. That's what worries me, is that, you look at a run and say, technically it's fine, but what have you got to do to impress the judges now at this point when they've been through so many runs and so many good runs too?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, you've got to pull it all out of the bag, really, if you're going to wow everyone. We wait for the score to drop in there from Ivo Cerulis. And Ivo Cerulis' score drops into our system. Where does he go? 24th with a score of 78, just enough to find himself inside top 32. And into the big show tomorrow, we keep it going, where we await our next driver to make his way to the line. It will be the second half of the Drift Brothers, the Red Bull Drift Brothers clan. It will be Eli Hutunji.
Yeah, Eli now, not outshining Joe Hutunji right now. It's just an 8th position.
10th. His brother's in 8th. He's in 10th.
You know what? Wouldn't it be just really annoying for Joe Hutunji right now if his brother was to just pip him at the end?
Just 5th. Just 5th qualifying. Just get inside 5th. That would be annoying, wouldn't it?
You know what? He looks pumped up. He's I don't know. He looks like a guy every time he hits to that start line that's comfortable, that's confident, and he's psyched. And one more important thing is he always looks like he's enjoying himself in that car.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way in drifting. As you're really enjoying it, still like it's the first time you threw a car sideways, he can help at this level of competition too.
It certainly can, as he fires in that LSX 454 powered BMW E30. The Red Bull Drift Brother now navigates his way through the circuit. Big transition into the outer zone, slows the car down, gets back on throttle. A little hop on the curb, but he stays in the throttle. This is a very fast run from Eli Hutunji.
Yes, speed here is exceptional, Ian, as he has not been off the throttle almost the whole run. And that is another very, very good score on the board. Is it enough? I mean, we know he's in the top 32 now, so the battles, you can't win qualifying. You can top it, but you can't win it. So essentially, he's in anyway. But let's see if he just outed his brother again, because I love building this rivalry,
You're going to create something, Dave, that you're not going to be able to fix.
No, I mean, look, they're nice guys, but, you know, I think they're both great, but I want to see who's the best. Surely someone has to be the best.
Joe Hutanji's proved it, though.
Let's see where he goes. Does he top his brother's score on the scoreboard? Oh, 88 on the board. And what does that mean?
His brother beat him by 0.3,
oh,
Dave.
They won't talk tonight.
They will not be talking tonight. Ellie, who
separate hotels,
drops in to 9th position with an 88.3. He's inside that top 10 in 9th place. As we look to Jack Shanahan, sits on the line, 75. He's just about inside top 32. Shanahan, though, going to be looking to improve his score as he flicks that Link engine management S14 Tri-Ace tyres car through the first turn now. Can hear Shanahan scrubbing some speed. He gets back on the accelerator much tidier as he just pops the cone off of its resting place now. Shanahan fires the car into the 2 outer zones and across the line, Dave, and a much more confident looking Jack Shanahan.
It's a great run again. Not getting to the outer zone 3. It looks like he's just slowing the car a little bit down towards that second clipping zone and then slowing it a little bit too much.
It looks like he's too grippy.
Either or, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know the technical knowledge here, but what I'm saying, it looks like he's slowing a little bit too much. He's not pushing it right to the edge of the curb on outer zone 3. Other than that, very solid run from Jack Shanahan. Yeah,
can he improve on his first score of a 75 as we wait to see? And he definitely can. An 84.3 for Shanahan puts him into 13th position. And an 84 is 13th, Dave.
Really?
Yeah, an 84 is 13th for Karkoshik.
Has a passenger.
Has a passenger this time.
He has a troll on the front of his car. Well, you know what?
So, he's
given David Karkoshik's reputation here, that is not coming back.
Goodbye to that teddy bear.
The little girl that owns that ain't coming back.
There's going to be some tears shed for that teddy bear, but he is outside top 32 right now. David Karkoshik comes off the line. He needs to put it all out there. This guy always finds himself in competition. But it's a very, very tightly packed grid today as we fire through. Karkoshik,
a lot of left foot braking to that first corner.
And sacrificed that outer zone. Karkoshik clips the cone again, mirrors Jack Shanahan's move. He comes through the centre of the circuit. Karkoshik stands back on the accelerator again. You know what? I think it's definitely an improvement, but not as high up the order as what we'd like to see Karkoshik.
I think it's just that first corner. It's like he's on the front brake while on full throttle. I'm not sure if it's a gearing issue, power issue, but it just doesn't look like he's fully committed there. And we've watched most of the drivers do that without any left foot braking, so it's not going to impress the judges to be slowing the front end of the car that dramatically.
No, exactly that. So we await the score for Karkoshik to drop in.
So let's see what David Karkoshik has scored. It's a 69.7. Can you believe David Karkoshik does not qualify here in Hockenheim? The first big shock of the weekend. And you know what? We got to go down to man Eddie Power in the pits. Eddie, more news for us from down there.
So we saw momentarily ago clutch problems for third in the championship, Pavel Barkovsky. Right behind me, Conor Shanahan is getting ready for his second qualifying run. Not only is he having clutch issues, he's also battling a sprained wrist, which he hurt earlier on in an incident in practice. Things are becoming very difficult for our grid down here, and right now it's looking like this championship might become a 2-horse race. Could it be Dean and Hipke to take the title? Who knows? We're about to find out in qualifying. Just our final few drivers to go. Can Conor Shanahan get himself into the game? Only time will tell.
Wow, so we have Conor Shanahan injured and with a car that's almost broken. Borkowski's car is still broken. Now we turn to the line. Romanovsky, the man that finished up on the podium in Riga, trying to get back on that podium this weekend in Hockenheim as he hammers through the gears into that first corner and fires that Drift Warriors E30 into the first corner. And nice line so far.
Yeah, looking tidy, but right now it sits outside of the top 32, so Romanovsky's going to need to put everything on the line if he's going to gain a place inside top 32 with his Drift Warriors teammate Grzegorz Hipke. Romanovsky stands on the accelerator and takes it to the final 2 outer zones. For me, the front first clip wasn't tidy.
And you know what? It's those inner clips that are causing the problems. You would assume the outer clips would be the difficult ones, but it's actually the inner clips.
It's actually the inners that have made it very difficult because it creates a moment of slowing down. So it's not easy for our guys to get to. We await the score to drop in for Krzysztof Romanowski. Can he climb inside top 32? Is it enough? He needs over a 72 to get inside of the top 32. And where does he land? Well, he's way inside. An 80 for Krzysztof Romanowski puts him into 20th position.
Yeah, nice run there from the Drift Warrior. And looking at those guys struggling in the championship, these guys are looking at, you know, smelling a little bit of blood in the water, saying we can start climbing.
Exactly that. And this man, he needs to pull it all out of the bag right now as we see Torani Kavir come off the line.
I'm thinking he's outside of the top 32 right now.
I'm going to go with a wild guess and say he certainly is, as you can hear the supercharger howling on his V8-powered Nissan 200SX. Currently sits in 34th position, but he's doing a very good job right now. Is Torani Kavir, comes through the centre of the circuit, transitions back into the final outer zones, and the smoke coming off this car is insane as he comes over the line and finishes off a very, very good run. Does Torani Kavir, the Norwegian, LS3 supercharged, 600 horsepower.
He needed that run to stay in the game this year and to sort of reward what it was an incredible start on the podium in Poland. Błocki has to stay in the game, and you know, an 81 puts him right back in the game and into 16th position. He goes into the game, and I think also safe for tomorrow. Yeah,
and he's 10th in the championship as well, so it's all to play for him to have a good finish for the end of the year. Now, this man, Pavel Trela, sits in 9th place in the championship. He sits with a 0 on the board. Can he pull it all out of the bag?
Big pressure here for Pavel Trela.
As he fires that little Opel GT, and I just see a start line marshal put their hand up. Is there an issue with Trela's car as he comes through the centre of the circuit? Now, this is his nemesis. He hasn't made it round here all day. As Trela looks like he's made it through his nemesis part of the circuit, and he's going to put in a run, but is it going to be enough to get inside top 32? It's not the best run we've seen of the day, Dave.
It's good talent, though. I mean, it's a new setup this round for him. It's something he's going to have to adapt to. This is not a normal car. I mean, a lot of these guys running modified suspension setups from normal cars. This is a completely custom-built car, so he hasn't got, you know, too much research outside of what he develops as he goes. And if he can get himself into the top 32 with this new setup, he'll be very proud of his achievement there.
Yeah, we currently have 3 people outside the top 32 left. Can Pavel Trela score? He certainly can. 79.3 puts him into 22nd position in inside top 32 competition tomorrow. He'll be happy with that, and he knows he's got work to be done tonight on that car. We move it along. Pavel Korpelinski. As we await to see Pavel Korpelinski make his way to the line. Now, this guy impressed me no end in practice, and he did our judges in qualifying. He gets an 89.3 on his first run. What can he do on his second? That's a very good score. He must be way up the order, Korpelinski. Yeah,
he's in 5th position. Place. And you know what? No surprise there.
No, he's been gaining from Latvia. We went to Riga. He did very well. He impressed us there. Turin, he did very well again. And listen, I think Korpelinski could do some damage to the championship this weekend as he comes off the line. Sits in 8th in the championship. He's going to be looking to make his way up the order into the top 5 as he fires that little BMW 1M and stands on accelerator. Very nice line and very deep into that outer zone. Transitions back again, full throttle. Look at that, he barely lifted off the accelerator, did Korpelinski now as he comes into the outer zone. Before he transitions into the centre of the circuit, Korpelinski, very, very good job from Pavel Korpelinski. And look at the smoke all the way up to the wing mirror as he comes over the line. That is a good run.
You know what? That is almost perfect in my eyes. He didn't make any mistakes, and he looks so comfortable. I mean, when he crashed in Poland, we were shocked. There was 20 crashes. We were the most shocked by Pavel Korpelinski because he very rarely puts a foot wrong. And again, here in Hockenheim, showing his worth, showing his talent. I think that's going to really trouble the guys at the top.
I wouldn't be surprised if that breaks the 90s. Like I say, technically correct, a few little bits to split here and there. Judges deliberating this one, so it's either going to be a very good one or it's not going to be as good as what we assumed. I can see some scores getting put into their scoreboard.
I think it's big. I'm going up and saying that was...
I'm going to say that's going to be top 5. Easy, top 5
Well,
score.
he's already in the top 5.
So he's already in top 5. My bad.
Good bet, Ian.
My bad.
Oh, really going out of the box there. So, will he top qualifying? Korpelinski, let's see what he does. It's a 92.
Wow, Korpelinski tops qualifying.
I called it. 92.
Well done, Dave.
Yeah, Pavel Korpelinski. And you know what? He's my man for tomorrow. He is looking unstoppable.
You can't say that. I called he was the man earlier on today. Can't be doing that to me. Taking my thunder.
Right, okay.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about this later. Right now, Bartosz Stolarski comes off the line. 74.3, Dave. This guy not looking good in qualifying. Needs to put it out of the bag. He's carrying a lot of speed. Dropping a wheel. Oh, that's not good. Stolarski now reins it back in again. This is a wild run
He's
from the
lucky to keep a
Polishman.
tyre on the rim there, Ian, and a big drop off the track and a big jump on the suspension, and it's not going to help his efforts here as he tries to get another good score on the board. His first run.
Yeah, it's a 74.3, so he's way...
74.3, so yeah, I think they're looking to see if those two wheels off the track here.
Yeah, do you know what?
We're getting the hang of this, Ian. We're getting the hang of this.
Good at this. Round 5, we're almost the best lookers. As he fires it in, look at this. Look at the speed he carries. Does he drop 2 wheels? No, definitely 1 wheel. Definitely a 1 wheel drop there. He got out of it too quickly. He used a foot brake to kind of pull the car back on the circuit.
Yeah, he actually did very well to save it.
Yeah, wise move. Listen, he's an experienced driver. He's been around a long, long time. I'm not saying he's old, but he's been around a while.
Yeah, that's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
You said it's just more polite.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I don't want to get on the wrong side of him.
You certainly do not. And Bartosz will put a score on the board, I'd imagine, for that run, but they're having another look at this. Look how deep he goes in, and we have created almost a drain or a dike there beside
well.
him. Yeah, and I mean, a little bit of rain comes down there, that's going to be an interesting place to drop wheels. But as you can see, that beautiful grass turned to clay and muck this weekend, as expected. When we started practice at 69.7, not enough to improve. Oh, wow, he's outside the top 32.
Dave, he sits in 7th in the championship, and he's out of competition.
That just sunk in. That just sunk in as I watched this one.
And Borkowski is 3rd, and his car is in bits.
I'm shocked.
This is a change in the championship, and this is what I said would happen earlier on. We move it back to the line. Adam Zalewski, your current reigning Drift Masters European champion, sits on the line. He's in 5th place.
You know what Zalewski is? You know the horse races where the horse, you're like, oh, he's never going to win, and then he starts making that late charge? That's Zalewski, because Zalewski's been coming through the pack right from round 1 where he didn't score anything, and now he's sitting in the business end.
Yeah, look at this. Fires it in Zalewski's Zestino tyres. 2JZ powered E30 BMW. Stands on the accelerator. Whoa, perfect transition there from Zalewski, dropping a wheel on every part of the circuit that the judge wanted to see. Could this be a top spot for Zalewski? Could he take down Korpolinski's 92? Zalewski is absolutely flying as he takes it over the line, Dave. Zalewski just did exactly what you said.
Oh, now we've got to make a call. Do I think that's gone top?
Come on, Dave. Make the call. Make it.
I think it's... Oh, we've just got word that Borkowski is in the queue. I'm delighted. He's one of my favorites on the grid. He's back in action. Didn't want to see him bow out with even a fighting chance. I'm avoiding the answer to this question.
Is Zalewski's enough to top qualify?
I think it's not. I think Korpolinski's was a little bit more impact.
I don't know. For me, Zalewski put that car on the edge of the circuit at every point possible.
It'll be close. That is for sure. And it doesn't really matter because all these guys are going to be in. And it's always going to be a big challenge to beat those big scores. It's going to be a big score. 89.3. I'm on it today.
I'm on it today. You've had your Weetabix this morning.
Yep, 5 rounds in, and I'm starting to figure out this whole thing. So at 89.3, he'll be very happy with that. That's a phenomenal score.
Yeah, so we move it along to the next guy on the line. We start getting into the top 5 of the championship. And our first guy up will be Juha Poitalaksko, comes off the line, 80.7 in his first qualifying run. E92 M3 Turbo, 900 horsepower.
Will certainly not be happy to not be in the top 5 here, so he's going for this one.
Yeah, he's going to be going for it for sure as he fires that car through. Not as deep into the outer zone as what we'd like to see, but on the accelerator early. Shortcuts just washes wide of that second inner zone. Starts fulfilling the outer zones, though, perfectly as Poitalaksko takes it over the line.
Such an angry car. Such an angry car.
I'm not sure on that one, you know, Dave. I don't think it was enough to climb high enough inside the top 5.
It was a good run, but not a phenomenal run.
It wasn't, yeah,
and you've got to be phenomenal now to question those guys at the top right now, because those runs were almost inch perfect.
Yeah.
I think that car, the only word to describe it is ignorant. It's an ignorant car. It's so aggressive. And the noise, and it's just one of my favorites on the grid. Incredible. And he's going to be challenging. I'm telling you, tomorrow, an 81.7, not even 16 mid-pack, but look at those 2 consistent runs. Yeah. That's going to help him tomorrow.
Yeah, and
he feels in the comfort zone. He's looking good. His lead runs tomorrow will be pretty solid. So, and he's a great chase driver. So tomorrow at the main event, I'm picking him to do some damage. And a man that wants to be in that main event and isn't at the moment is Conor Shanahan, currently sitting in 4th position in the championship with a 0 from his first run. Has to get it all done here, and imagine the pressure on the shoulders of a 15-year-old child right now at 80 miles an hour. Let's see what he can get done.
Let's look at this as Shanahan fires it in that Link ECU Westlake tyres, 180 SX, 2JZ under the bonnet, 700 horsepower. Seems to be working for him right now as he stands on the accelerator. This is good stuff from Shanahan. Very nice line as he just used the foot brake to get into the outer zone. Shanahan dabbing the foot brake to control the car, gets back on the accelerator, smokes up the Westlake tyres and takes it over the line. And Conor Shanahan, ladies and gentlemen, puts down a run and pulls it out the bag when it matters.
Well, it shows while you're in 4th position in the championship, and that's why. Because you have to perform under pressure situations when it's not going your way, and it hasn't been going Conor Shannon's way. He has a sprained wrist from an accident earlier in practice, and he's still
That was when he took it off and bounced the car. The car literally took off on the grass and landed again. I mean, violent. I mean, one of the photographers just showing me. And yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, keep an eye on our socials because we'll be posting that photo up later on.
Yeah, we'll be posting all of the qualification scores, and we'll show you a photo of that incredible accident that Conor Shannon had, just to show you how he got that sprained wrist. And I think Conor Shannon's going to jump right up the order here. And you know what? Deservedly so for a very solid and technical run. 86.3 puts Shannon into 11th position, meaning both Shannons into our top 32, not without issues, though.
Yeah, exactly. Work to be done on those cars overnight. But we move it along to this guy. He currently sits with a 0 on the line. It is Pavel Borkowski.
I can't even watch. I can't even watch.
He sits 3rd in the championship, Dave, right now. What can he do?
I can't watch. I mean, it's all on this now. He's had no practice. His car is barely working. You can see it's not at 100%. He has to struggle here to get himself into that top 32, and just about holding on to it right now, Ian. Can he finish a run here? Can he get himself another night to get this car right and get back in the fight?
It's looking good, though, from Borkowski, as he absolutely fulfills every zone and every front clip as he puts it on big angle across the line. Pavel Borkowski pulls it out the bag and makes it happen.
Wow.
That's enough.
And that's why these guys are where they are in the championship. They've had no practice. They're not up to 100%. The cars aren't 100%, and they're still making it work. They're struggling around the issues.
And this is what we spoke about earlier, me and Eddie. 5 rounds in, cars starting to die now. You know, it's a lot of work they're getting put through, and not easy battles or not easy rounds. Score comes in before Pavel Borkowski. I'm telling you now, he's done it. He's inside top 32. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. 85, 13th position. Pavel Borkowski gets himself inside the big show, keeps his championship hope alive.
Just about. Last-ditch effort, and he's still in the game. And when we thought we were going to lose all of our championship contenders, they're right back in the mix. But again, eyes will now turn to Grzegorz Hipki, because he wasn't super comfortable on that first run.
No, a 75.7, so pretty sure he's going to be way down the order for qualifying. Way down the order. I mean, if he's still in it.
Well, that's the question. We're looking at the scoreboard here, and we're just waiting for it to scroll through and let us know if Hipki has got more pressure than we think he has right now to stay in. He is really close to the drop zone, if not on the drop zone right now. Hipki thrown into that first corner, and he's just in 31st position, so regardless, he will qualify and get into the fight, but not comfortable right now, washing way off the circuit.
Look at this, Dave. He's way wide. He almost drops completely off the circuit, and that is a big mistake there for Grzegorz Hipki. He's not looking comfortable this round at all.
Now, right now, this is just speculation. He's in 31st position. And where is James Dean?
Oh, wow.
Now, this is the interesting little... He's in 4th right now, James Dean. Now, if James Dean was to improve on his second run and get
jump into 2nd.
Let's see if he just gets into 2nd. Then he would meet Grzegorz Hipki in the top 32 tomorrow, meaning that Hipki taking down Dean and going on would put himself back in the championship. That might even be better for Hipki.
See, mathematically, we need to do it. But theoretically, right now, I think that if James beats Hipki in top 32 tomorrow, Dean automatically wins the championship. Because there's 100 points separating them right now. Hipki won't be able to claw enough points back if he gets bowed out of competition tomorrow in top 32. So just let that play in Hipki's mind right now.
So he could have a championship
battle.
battle.
But if he beats James Dean, they equal on points if he wins the event. And then we go to Mondello. It's an open playing field.
So even Stevens.
Oh, my God. Grzegorz Hipki's score drops in, though. Where does he land? He stays where he is. It's all on James Dean's back right now.
But James Dean goes first. He avoids Hipki. If he goes second, he meets Hipki in the top 32 tomorrow. I mean, the championship would be on the line in one of the first battles of today. I think I'm going to be going to bed early tonight because we are in for a big show tomorrow.
Here we go, off the line. Current points leader, FD Formula Drift champion James Dean fires in the teal and blue S14 Worfhouse tyres, Worfhouse Falcon tyres. Absolutely perfect. Look at the transition from Dean as he stands on the accelerator. Full throttle transition through the front clip. Now he gets back into it, fulfills the outer zone. He comes through the centre of the circuit. Dean, full throttle transition again as he gets into the final 2 outer zones. Big angle and smokes it across the line. And I think the clutch went as he went over the finish line. I'm not even joking.
I'm telling you, you can hear the car rev out.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it just rev out?
It revved out. I think that was the last in that clutch.
That was all it had.
Before he puts a new one in tomorrow for the main event. Now, this is the interesting part of this. If he goes second, it would just be written in the stars. If he goes first, we got a story on our hands either way. But surely not. Surely he wouldn't. I mean, we wanted to.
I want it to be second.
He could stay third, fourth, fifth. I'm not sure, but let's see exactly where James Dean falls into the scoring. As you can see, the sun setting here in a beautiful backdrop in the Hockenheim F1 circuit here in Germany, and it's heating up for the main event. So let's see where he goes in the championship. This isn't even scripted, Ian. Everyone's going to think this is made up.
I'm so excited right
Would
now.
you believe it?
Oh my God, a 91
into second position. So we are going to have Dean and Hipke in the top 32 tomorrow.
Deciding the championship.
For the championship.
The first battle, the second battle of the day, potentially, whatever it is. I don't even know. I'm too excited to even think about it. Dave, what a qualifying session. And,
wow.
And I mean, here we go. Here's the full scoreboard dropping onto your screens now for you guys watching at home.
Ian, that was written in the stars. So there you have it. First place and topping qualifying for Paweł Korpolinski. He goes to first with a 92. Then second for James Dean. Third for Andreas Vasiliauskas. Fourth for Christian Erlandsen. What a performance from him. Fifth for the youngster Adam Zalewski. Sixth for Benediktas Chirba. Seventh, Sebastian Fonten. Eighth, Joe Hutonji. Ninth, Eli Hotonji, just 1.3 distance between those two brothers. 10 for Kajetan Rutinan, the big Mercedes. 11th for Connor Shannon, last-ditch effort to stay in the championship. 12th for Michael Reichardt from the Czech Republic. 13th, Paweł Borkowski, another last-ditch qualifying run from him. 14th for Nigel Colfer. 15th for Jack Shanahan. 16th for Yanis Iglite. 17th for Serhii Kremitz. 18th for Juha Poitalaxo. 19th for Tor Arne Kavia. 20th for his debut, Jason Banet from France. Impressive performance there. 21st position, Max Heidrich, the local man from Germany. 22nd position for Kylan Kirten. 23rd position for Krzysztof Romanowski. 24th for Paweł Trela. 25th for Matt Carter. 26th for Mikkel Overgaard. 27th, Daniel SAEVIK. 28th, Mevlud Meladze from Georgia. What a performance. Slowest horsepower car on the grid, and he's into the mix. 29th position for Steve Bagsy Biagioni from the UK. 30th position for Ivo Ciroulis. And 31st position for Gregor Shipke, as we mentioned, will face James Dean tomorrow in the top 32. How could you miss it for the championship? And 32nd, the survivor, Jim Olafsson, rounds out our top 32. Well, that is all the action we've got from today's here. I mean, I honestly cannot believe we're having a championship fight based on qualifying tomorrow. Incredible. Well, we're starting tomorrow at 2:30 CST. Check your local listings. And it's an earlier time that is advertised. We'll make those adjustments tonight. And for you guys, you don't want to miss it tomorrow. We're going to the main event, the main stage, Ian, where it gets even more exciting. The boring part is done. Now it's head-to-head battles at over 80 miles an hour here in Hockenheim. You don't want to miss it. Until then, from all of us here at the Drift Masters European Championship crew, we'll see you tomorrow for what will be a sensational event. We'll see you then.